right. All right. Let's see. I think I might be on the TV. We'll get it on there. Boom. All right. There we go. Mirror this window right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're good. Yes. There we are. All right. Good morning. If you do not have a book in front of you, we are going to be talking about business today, and that is in this black book, okay, the Foundations book, which we barely ever open because most of this is stuff that your mama and daddy should have taught you, little stuff like ethics, like don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. It's on page 269. 269. Good morning. I am your host, Mary Negron from the Mary Negron School of Nails. Had to do it for the internet. We just got finished getting talked to this morning, and my students now they're mad at me. I can tell. It's the vibes in here. But you know what? You will get over it. We'll feel better at 2 o'clock when we see these people graduate. Hey, come on, can we clap for the people that's graduating so that people on live know that we actually do have students in here? Yeah. Even though y'all are so quiet, we got 3 people graduating today. I am so proud of them, and they are working so hard to get those last few sets done so they can get out of here. Y'all gonna go anyway. Y'all got to go today. We got to make room. Make room. Yes, congratulations to these ladies. Good morning. Yes, good morning. We are live on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, we're live on TikTok. We are also live on Instagram, which I don't really mess with the gram, but I'm gonna go live for you guys today because it's very informative information, not just for nail technicians, but anybody who is in the business of business. Okay, so let me get my slides up here. Bam. Boom. That's not just me. There we go. Okay. So, the beauty business. Okay. Again, this chapter is not just about nails. I mean, you could apply this to anything. So, if any of y'all decide when you leave here you don't want to be a nail tech, you can still use this information for whatever business you start. Okay. So, why is it important that you learn this information, y'all? Why is it so important? Why do you think? Uh-oh, that is really big. Why is it important? I mean, I hope that here's the thing. Have you ever noticed that there's a lot of CEOs on the internet? Especially on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. It's a whole lot of CEOs, but ain't none of them got a business license to save their whole life. Okay? I don't want you to be that person. I want you guys to do this thing legally. So today we're going to explain the beauty business in a little bit of detail, okay? Not so much. We're going to try to keep it pertaining to the nail industry, obviously. We're going to talk about some requirements that you need to own a business, okay? Because some of y'all literally have businesses right now. We've established that, illegal ones that's going on. And I know that you have not done these things because the city nor would the state allow it. You're going to get yourself in so many different levels of trouble if you don't hurry up and get done. Just saying, you better get that husband to put it in his name or something. Okay? We're going to talk about the difference between booth rental and commission, which is, kind of something that you're doing too. All right? We'll talk about, and you need to know the difference because a lot of these employers are doing some illegal things as well, okay? Because they are not abiding by the rules and regulations of, the difference between booth rental and commission. So we'll talk about that too. We'll talk about some of the things you need to do to keep a successful nail salon running, okay? Because anybody can open one. And that's why I tell people like, oh my God, I want to open a school. And I'm like, anybody can open a school. Can you keep it open? That is what you need to learn. And that I can't teach you because I'm still trying to keep mine open. Okay? So we're also going to talk about marketing strategies. And you ladies, every last one of y'all, because I follow y'all. Well, some of y'all I can't follow because y'all just be doing too much. But I follow y'all on the internet, and I see what you do. You're marketing yourself. Maybe you're just marketing your twerking abilities. I don't know. But you're already marketing on the internet. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Whether or not you're doing it for just nails right now, I don't know. Some of you are. Like Gio, she has a whole nail page, y'all. She got a tattoo page, and then she got that personal page, y'all. I don't recommend. You're going to find out some things about it. Let me tell you, she does not look like that in the streets. All right. Listen, you got plenty. You've been blessed, honey. Blessed. All right. So let's get right into it. All right. So first and foremost, when you get ready to open a business, first of all, whether you do it or not, or have done it or not, you have a plan. Okay. As far as a business plan, you may not have written one out, is what I mean. You may not have formally written one or presented one to someone, but in your mind, you have a plan, right? You got a plan. I know you got a plan. What about you? You got a plan for when you get out of here? What's your plan? Doing in what way? Like, do you want to have your own salon? Do you want to work for someone for a little while? Have you thought about that? Probably have a little bit. Yeah. I mean, a dream and a plan are two different things, right? Yeah. A dream and a plan is two different things. So you guys will be getting really close to, getting that dream done. That meaning getting your license. So it's going to be time for you to start making a plan. Okay. So a business plan is going to be helpful to you, not just so that you can implement whatever your dream is, but so that you can also get funding from banks. Okay. So that you can, maybe even if it's not a bank, I personally, my nephew was like, I want to open a business doing blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, write me a business plan. He was like, a what? I was like, I'm not going to invest into your business and you don't even have a plan. You don't know what you want to do. I mean, this was when he was in high school, He just was like, oh, auntie got a little money she can throw at me. Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. So I need you to have a plan. So there are certain parts of a business plan that you need to be aware of. Number one, because obviously I told you guys this morning, you have an assignment that you have to complete, which is your senior project. The first part of that assignment is a business plan. Now, you guys are so lucky you have such an amazing teacher that already wrote her business plan for when I opened this school. And I gave you a template, an exact copy of what I wrote down for my business plan. And all you have to do is copy and paste it into a Word program and then rewrite it to fit you. Please don't let me see Mary Negron School of Nails nowhere in that. Okay, rewrite it. Please don't let me see a plan for a school in there, because I'm going to say, oh, okay, she legit just copy and pasted it and didn't rewrite it and thought I wasn't going to read it. Somebody going to read it, okay? So it is going to be kind of lengthy, all right, when it comes to it, depending on you now. And please don't put it through Chat GPT, all right? I know that's a thing, but that I can tell if you put it through Chat GPT. I think there's even an app now that you can run it through Chat GPT to see if it went through Chat GPT. Because of the colleges now, they need to know if y'all cheating. All right, so the first part of your business plan, okay, is going to be an executive summary. All right, there's several different parts to a business plan, and that's just a summary of your plan and a list of your objectives. Okay, it could be one sentence, one single sentence, or a paragraph, all right, of what your plan is. It may be my goal or my plan is to open a nail salon that caters to the male community, and we are going to emphasize natural nail care and men's grooming for the CSRA. Okay, it could be something as simple as that. All right, and then the next thing that will be in that business plan should be something called a vision statement. And your vision statement is going to be your long-term picture. What is your vision? What do you see happening to your business years from now? Are you going to make this just a simple, 1 year thing. Oh, I'm just gonna open it. I'm gonna do a pop-up nail salon. I'm gonna be open for 6 months and then I'm gonna close it. I just want y'all's money and then I'm gonna run and go get me BBL. Okay. So what is your business gonna look like when you get to that goal? Okay. Then your mission statement, and we all have heard mission statements before, and you may not have even known it. Even like Burger King has one, have it your way. That's literally their mission statement, right? Every customer that comes in there, you can customize your burger however you like it or don't like it, or and have it your way. All right, it could be that simple. But it's a description of your strategic influences in your business, such as the market it will serve. Like I said, you may say you only want to serve, maybe the rainbow community. I can't say what it is, they'll say, oh my God, hate speech. You know what I'm talking about. The rainbow community. You may want to say you just want to do things for, the black community, the community. All right. You just say what you will say who you're serving in that mission statement. Okay. Your organizational plan is your outline of who's going to work for you. Are you going to have a manager? Are you just going to run it yourself? Are you going to have employees? Are you going to have a janitor, a receptionist, an accountant? What is your plan? And who is at the top of that totem pole? Who's at the bottom? Okay, and in between, and list the description of how those people are going to help you and what they're going to do in your business, how much you're going to pay them, your plan, all of that should be in there. And again, like I said, this sounds like a lot, but I've already got it written out for you. You just need to make it make sense. Okay. Now, your marketing plan. How do you plan to market this business? You guys are so lucky. Y'all got Beyonce's internet. All you gotta do is make a little TikTok video, make an Instagram reel, a Facebook, what do they call them over there? Reels? Yeah, reel, a YouTube video, a short.
It's so hard because people.
It is not easy.
Span of a amoeba.
And that is the reason why. You want to catch them. It's called a hook. Yeah. Okay. You want to catch them. You want to get them and get their attention. And don't talk to them for too long, because then you lose them. All right. So that's why those little short advertisements are so great. Right. So, I back in the day when I first went to nail school, I had to make a flyer, wait 30 days for it to get to me, and then go out to the mall and put them on people's cars and get mad. You see your flyers all over the garden. You're like, damn, I spent so much money on them flyers. But you get your flyers and put them on people's cars, or you might even go in the mall and hand them out to people, which you guys, just so you know, that is not dead. You should still do that, okay? And we'll get to that when we get to the marketing part of this. But you absolutely should still do that. I absolutely will come to your salon if you hand me a freaking flyer and say, girl, look at my nails. Let me see your nails. There's a way you can approach people. I saw one of the cutest little marketing things. This girl went and bought a bushel of carnations. There were like, 50 of them, because they're cheap little flowers. You can buy 50 carnations and she was handing them out to ladies that had that she saw their nails, and she was like, hey, my name is whatever, and her theme of her salon was flowery. She had flowers every damn where. Okay, pink flowers and stuff. And she was like, I would love it if you would come to my salon, book an appointment, handed them a little card. It was so cute. And she literally did a follow-up of that, and she probably got 20 people off of that, out of the 50 flowers that I'm sure she handed out more after she run out of flowers. But super awesome way to market. Okay, so just don't always think about the internet. The internet is, there's a lot of crazy people on there. Start, being more personable. Word of mouth is not dead. Trust me. How many? You just told me of 2 people this morning that told you about me. Word of mouth is powerful. Okay, very powerful. All right, so financial documents. What do I mean by financial documents? Well, these are going to be your projected financial statements. How much money do you think you're going to make? Okay. Because obviously, you know, you'll want to, if a bank is going to give you money or a small business loan or any type of micro loans and things like that, they're going to want to know, well, how much money you think you're going to make? Because we need to make sure you can pay us back. Okay. So with that being said, I have also provided you a spreadsheet that will determine if you can even afford to do this. Did you do a spreadsheet before you open that suite? You need to know if you're gonna have to introduce me to your husband. I already know what he looks like. He's kind of handsome now. He's a little handsome little thing. Yeah, okay. No, never mind. I ain't gonna tell you. I ain't gonna tell all that. But I'm like, oh, he cute. Okay. Go ahead, Tasha. Brown. All right. Anyhow, so you're going to want to have these projections of how much money you can make in this industry. And I've provided for you all something that, and I will tell you this, people beg me for this. And I'm like, nope, you can't have it. It's for my students only. You will know if you can afford to do anything. Like, I literally use this for my personal expenses. I went on there and I said, okay, I got 16 students and they coming in and I pay myself. Can I afford this bike?
Yep.
Apparently the answer was yes. Okay. If I have 10 students that are in overtime, no, I'm just joking. See, now I'm gonna mess with y'all. And you know I'm gonna mess with y'all. Yeah, y'all got to graduate now. You got to. I don't want to take your money. All right. So I do, but I don't. All right. So, and then actual financial statements. They're gonna want to know how much money you are making. What did you do over there again? A manicure. Oh, you doing manicures? Okay. They're gonna want to know how much money maybe you have money coming in. So you're married. You got a husband. Like, he contributes to your finances, right? You may want to show that as well. That, okay, I got a part-time job. I do OnlyFans on the side. I do feet finders as well. I make this amount of money on this website, this website, this website. And this is also part of my income. You'll want to include all of that, okay? So that they know that you are making money, okay? And then supporting documents would be something as simple as your resume. How many of y'all have a resume? Please make sure you have a resume. And that resume, you need to update it. If it's not been updated to say that you're in nail school, or that you are, you know, you've gone to the show, that you learned how to do this, like for your nail resume, you definitely want to have on there, you know, I've been trained in electric filing. I have an e-file certification, or I went and did this extra, this, blah, 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 blah. Right? And it's totally okay to have 3 different resumes. Okay, totally okay, because some may not apply, you know.
It was just for like a government one or radio.
Right. I mean, they don't need to know that you're in nail school. They don't care.
Yeah, no, I was just asking.
You know, something like that. So, and then your business policies. That's the last part of your business plan. And those policies are going to be, you know, whether you are going to accept kids under the age of 16. Are you going to be allowing, you know, do you allow what time do you open? Are you going to be open on holidays? Are you going to be open Monday through Friday? Things of that nature. Okay, your business policies. All right, everybody understand that? Any questions so far? Because you will have to create a business plan. All right, and this is super simple for you guys to do. Again, if you think about it and take your time, it may take you a little time to do it, but again, it is already written for you. Just make it fit for your business. Okay. Now, when you open a business, you need to think about a couple of things. First of all, we discussed what are your goals, right? That's kind of part of your business plan. But what is brand identity? How you present yourself, right, in your business. So for instance, let me tell y'all a little story. So yesterday after class, I was starving. So there's this new, I know she is loud with that e-file, ain't she? She's trying to make sure we know she graduating today. Is there any way we can hand file today? Lord have mercy. Just take your time. Jesus is loud. Wow. Why? It's because it's on that plastic hand, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you something else, baby. That's loud. Just for a second. Yesterday, I went. There's this new restaurant. Just do something else. Okay. There's this new restaurant that opened up right there by my house called Tasty Wings and, I don't know, shrimps or something.
Tasty wings.
Seafood. I said, I'm going to go and support the small businesses because, I want them to support me. So I walked in there. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's nice. Right? And then I got up to the register. And I don't have no problem with blue hair, green hair, pink hair, or any color hair. I think it's so damn cute. However, if you're going to have blue hair and you intend to wear it to work, please don't wear a bonnet over it while you are taking my order. Or have a headscarf wrapped 16 times, around it. Because that is, I'm sorry, very unprofessional. Need I say ghetto? Which I love a little ghetto. I got a whole lot of ghetto in me. But I try not to present myself as such in my business. Then to make it all, let's put it all together in one package, which she was super sweet. Don't get it twisted. She wasn't rude. She was nice. She was professional in her ordering skills. She came around to hand me my food because I was sitting down there waiting, and she had on flip-flops and her pajama bottom pants. SpongeBob! Pajama bottoms. Okay? Now, if this is the way they want to present their business, that's perfectly fine, because I will say this. The food was delicious. It was delicious. However, as an owner of a business, ain't no way. Go home. Go home. Put some clothes on. Go brush your hair. Take your damn edges. Pull them out so we can see them. Whatever you want to do. I don't care about your hair being blue. But at least comb it. I don't care about you having lashes out to here. At least don't have 5 of them missing in the middle. Because this is my business and I want people to, be presentable. Because if you sloppy like that when you come to work, I'm assume that my food is sloppy too. Okay? And I'm not going to take no chances with the food that I eat. Do you? I'm just saying. Ain't nothing personal. It's just the way we are as human beings. I'm going to judge you off of the way you look. So your brand identity, let me just say, I probably won't go there again. Because I can go to Zaxby's and get me some fried shrimp and they all got a uniform on. At least I know that they passed the, whatever. It ain't got nothing to do with blue hair because they all got blue hair in there too. I don't care about that. But I can guarantee you Zaxby's ain't having you coming in there in your pajama bottoms and flip-flops and looking like you just rolled out of bed. It's just not going to happen. So what is your brand identity? Do you plan to walk up to your, be in your suite with a bonnet on? Baby, I wear a bonnet. I got a pretty purple bonnet. And half the time it ends up staying in the bed because it came off while I was sleeping. But I promise you it don't come outside my house. So do you plan on having a uniform? When you go to, let's just say, when you go to Target, you can blindfold me and walk me into a Target, and when I open my eyes, I'm gonna know I'm in Target, aren't you? Can't you tell? How can you tell? Everything's red. Everything is clean. They got red shopping carts. They got the Target sign everywhere. Everything is recognizable. Let me tell you, one of my friends, she on the live right now. City Escape Spa. If y'all don't know who she is, you need to follow her on TikTok and everywhere else. First of all, she's the #1 nail salon in her city. She's won that award, I think, 18 times in a row. I don't know. So many times I done lost count. But I know when I see her videos pop up, on TikTok, I wouldn't even need to see her. I know it's her brand because she wears this really pretty bright blue uniform in her videos. Her salon has the same color scheme. It's very clean. Everything is she's very big on sanitation. If you're going to follow anybody on the internet, let it be her. Okay?
What was it again?
City Escape Spa. She's in Florida. She'll be at the show. I know she will. She better come to that show. We see each other every year. But her brand identity is very, very, very apparent. Okay? Her aesthetic is what I'm getting at here. What is your aesthetic? And not just decor, okay? I don't care that you went to Wayfair and you got all this cute stuff and all of that. What is your aesthetic? Are you known for being clean? Are you known for following the state board rules and regulations? Are you known for education? Are you known for nail art? Are you known for, extendos, or whatever it is? What is your aesthetic? Who are you trying to attract? Because you do realize that you attract your tribe. I look at all of you and I'm like, oh yeah, these my people. These my people. And so trust and believe, you want to be around your people. You don't want to be around your not people, because then things get a little awkward, right? If you are, let's just say for instance, you decide you want to open a nail salon right in the middle of the hood downtown, what kind of clients do you think you're going to get? You're probably going to get the people that live around you, is what I'm getting at. So if you have a certain aesthetic or a certain demographic of clients that you want to serve, and I'm going to just tell you, my demographic of the people I want to serve are the ones that can afford to pay me and tip me. So I'm not going to go and put myself in a position where I got to argue with people and have bars on my doors and and windows and stuff, and they probably, they're going to tip me all right. Tip right on out the door with a bullet in them because they come to rob me or something. You just need to think about your aesthetic and the people you are trying to serve. There are nail technicians that love that environment. There are people that enjoy. Do y'all follow that one lady? She's an Asian lady. She's on Instagram, and she literally, all she does is videos of her like in her nail salon, servicing the, basically the hood. And she loves it. She loves it. She gives money to the homeless. Like, they come in and they're begging her for money, and she takes care of them. She feeds them. She does all of that stuff. Baby, I couldn't do it. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't put myself in a place where I had to deal with that every day. She's obviously a godsend, for those people. But who are you trying to serve? Are you going to be a nail technician that wants to do just feet? And maybe you want to do medical nail technician. Maybe you want to be an ANT, right? And do just medical podiatry type work. All right. You're going to have to put yourself in a place where those people can get to you. You better not be on the top floor of a building that don't have an elevator, right? So all of this stuff you need to think about before you start choosing a place to work. All right. So what sets you apart from other people? It may be, for instance, in Gio's case, which I will put you in the same position as my friend Kiki. Kiki owns a nail salon. If y'all don't know who Kiki is, okay, she's a unicorn.
That's all.
Okay. She's a living, breathing unicorn. My boo-boo. But she owns a nail salon in Charlotte, and it's called Tips and Needles. They do tattoos and nails in there. Awesome, like huge place. She's got a place for, obviously, the tattoo artists have their own spot, and then the nail techs have their own spot. And I don't even know what the laws are in Georgia versus over there, but that's an awesome freaking idea.
You just have to have them separate.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? And I just love that whole concept of how she's doing things. You know what I'm saying? And that sets her apart. There ain't nobody else doing that. I don't know of nobody else that's doing that. Do you? Might be you.
I was gonna say I was gonna be the.
Might be you. You might be
What?
you might be the Georgia version. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, she serves a certain type of demographic. In her salon, she's got, you can always hear it. She's got loud music playing, not loud, but she's got music playing. It's, if in my case, if I wanted to, let's just say if I wanted to go to a salon where I wanted to relax and have, and have a really quiet environment, I wouldn't go there for that particular day that I was feeling that way, because the environment is very upbeat. She's got music playing. She's got people all over the place. It's, that's her vibe, which I love. And I love it for her because that's all the way her. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind when you decide what you want to do with your salon, because you can also isolate people. It's something I wanted to bring up. Okay? Be careful about, and we are all women of color in here except for one. Vanessa's kind of, she's Italian, ain't she? She's with us. Don't always feel it's necessary for you to say, oh, woman owned, minority owned. You're isolating yourself to people who maybe feel, oh, well, this is a black owned salon, I can't come because I'm white. People feel that way. I have a white mother. Trust me, I know. Okay?
I got no pink fingers on my Instagram.
Listen, just be careful about how you market yourself, because you may isolate people and make them feel like they're not welcome there. Okay? Don't box yourself in. I want everybody to come. Okay? I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I'm a woman, I don't want no men in here. I am fully on that, what do they call them? Feminist, woman owned. No, baby, I want them all. Women, men, days, I want all of them to come. Okay? So be careful about that too. I actually did that at one point. I had woman owned, minority owned. I took it off because I did a business class at the show, and they were like, I'm only teaching you what I've been taught. Okay? And it has been proven that when you do stuff like that, you are isolating other people, or you're making some other people, because, we are in a very race-driven society right now. I don't know if y'all know the temperature of things right now. Don't push anybody out. Anybody. Because I want all y'all money green. I don't care who you are. All right? So, who are you going to serve? Everybody, hopefully. Okay? And what sets you apart? What makes you different? Those are things that you really want to think about. Okay? Now I'm off my soapbox, because that's a really important point that I wanted to get out today that I didn't say yesterday. All right, so there are stages of a business, right? And I'm very proud to say that I am right here on this scale the way the book says. And I didn't mean for it to be this way. I really didn't. Okay? But in the first year of your business, this is when you're starting your business. You may not even have the door open yet. It may take you a year to get everything together, right? You're like, I want to open a nail salon. Okay, so I guess I need to go to nail school, right? I probably need to look for a building. I probably need to look into what the state board required. Like, you're doing all of this, like, thinking and putting your plan together. Okay. The second year of your business, because let me just say, when I first opened my business, my business was open for 4 months before I took my first client. I got my business license, the salon license, everything. 4 months. October, November, December. So 3 months. It was already ready to take clients, but I didn't take my first client until January 2nd of 2020. Okay. So with that being said, I had a whole year to get this place together. I got this building in February. It took me 6 months to get it together. So something like February, March of that year, and started putting, y'all should have seen this place, but I know it ain't the best right now, but it was way worse. Okay, this was wood paneling on these walls, like wood, like your grandma's old school wood paneling on the walls. Okay, the floors were awful. The carpet I couldn't get up. I'm stuck with it because it's glued down. But the floors were this generic, like weird looking panels and stuff. Anyhow, took me a long time to get it together. So in that second year, which is after I had students for about 6 months, years 2 to 5, that's the time where you're kind of tending to your business, where you're like, okay, I've got the business, I'm building clientele, I'm looking for employees, and I'm thinking about growing and expanding a little bit. Maybe I want to hire a second person because now things are kind of flowing. And I'm it'll be 6 years this school has been open in October. Okay. So I'm right in line with that because we now have Shayla is an extension of me, right? So right at Bless You at 5 years, she started, working with me. So with that being said, now we're going into years 5 through 10 for me. So years 5 through 10, this is when you have achieved success. And I would like to say that I have achieved a certain amount of success because, we have graduated over 200 students since the day we opened. Okay. So with that, you're going to want to think about expanding your business. And I am doing exactly that. I am looking into opening an aesthetic school, expanding this building, either making it bigger or finding a bigger building, and training in aesthetics. Now, obviously, I'm not an esthetician. We would have someone come in and teach the course. Right? But in Florida, they do nails and skin. And I'm like, we're close enough to Florida. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Why not? And I really feel like nails and skin should go together, to be honest. I mean, it is one of those things. We deal with a lot of skincare. Okay. So I'm right along with this chart, right? I'm looking into expanding, looking into opening opening a second school or expanding the school into something else, a different scope of practice. Okay, so years 11 through 20, once we get to that stage, Lord of mercy, I don't know, y'all, I might have to give it to Shayla at that point. But you'll want to move from being you done already worked 10 years doing nails, right? I'm gonna tell you, that's about the time period where you're like, okay, we can only do so many nails all day, in and out, and you start to get a little bored and you want to do something else. I can tell you this, my nail friends that I've been friends with for 10 plus years, they're either teaching, they're opening schools, they're expanded into skincare or hair. They ended up going and like, you know what, I need to do something else. I need something more than what just nails. Okay, so there's all types of different things you can do. Maybe you go into education, maybe you become a trade show educator. We talked about this in the history of nails. Maybe you open up get your own line of products. Maybe you go into the education side of things or go into a whole nother realm of the beauty industry. Okay, but your business should be running itself at that point. Okay, especially if you decided you wanted to add employees or add people on to your business. And then, of course, years 20 and onward, you've been working for 20 years. Hopefully you're ready to retire. Okay, and I don't know if I'll get a full 20 years in the nail school, but I've been in this industry well over 20 years. I've been licensed for 20 years. Since 2005, I got my license. Okay, so that license, doing nails way before that, was in high school doing it. So I'm a 30-year nail tech at this point. So I'm tired. So this is my retirement plan. Okay, we want to get y'all to be instructors one day so that Miss Mary can really retire. All right. So with that being said, consider whether or not you want to sell your business or leave it to someone in your family, or just move forward with your life and the business still there, whether you sell it or not, or something like that, or give it to a partner or have a junior partner, something like that. Okay, now when you open a business, you need to think about, does it even make sense to do it? Does it make sense to do it? Is it feasible? You need to determine your business feasibility. Okay. For example, do you even have the skill or the talent to open the business? Okay. In the nail business in general, are you going to be, because you don't have to work, you don't have to be in business. You can work for someone, right? Do you have the skill it takes, or even the education it takes for you to, or experience it takes to open a business and keep it open? Okay, so that's something you want to think about. Okay, also your business name. This is one that I didn't think about at all in either one of my, when I was a nail tech, nor when I opened the school. Okay, when I say I didn't think about it, I thought about it when it came to the name of the school, but I didn't think about how long that shit was. You got to Google nail school for me to even pop up, because ain't nobody looking for Mary Negron School of Nails. It's this long.com. It's this long. Half time y'all can't spell it, and then can't spell school right, let alone Mary Negron. I know I get it mixed up all the time. I'm like, school. Oh, wait a minute. Is it SCH? Okay. Had I, and also you got to think about, are these names that you're looking for, are they even available? Right? Because when you go to open a business and get a business license and an LLC, which we'll get to in a minute, you need to make sure that business name might be taken. And then you call yourself Nails by Geo, and you go to look it up, and it's gone on Instagram. Somebody else got it.
Or there's like 15 other ones spelled differently, guys.
Nails with a Z, nails with an S, nails with a SS. Like, exactly. It's just and you want people to be able to find you. Now, luckily, there's only like 2 Mary Negrons in the whole world, but I can tell you this: MaryNegron.com is taken. That lady is an amazing artist. Go figure. Who does paintings? Go to MaryNegron.com, and it ain't gonna be me. Okay? Somebody else. So, I mean, not that I would have called it Mary Negron or had you go to MaryNegron.com, but I would like to own that name. That, it would be nice to have it, but somebody else got it. So,
their website
is their name, right? What? Are you looking at it?
Oh, shoot.
What?
No freaking way. Because she just looked up her name, her business name.
Somebody got it.
The logo was so cute.
I did so.
What was going to be your business name?
The Polyprint.
Oh yeah, somebody got that, baby. Oh, and you better hope she don't sue you for using it.
It's a man.
And
he
it's a
owns
man.
a printer packaging company. They package, print, and laminate. Because they offer 3 things as well. So, and for mine it would be acrylic, gel, and pedicure service.
That is clever though, because he prints.
The
He
Polyprint.
Yes, and I was offering three nail services.
See, you should have thought about that. See, that's
He
why you
doesn't
should.
have these.
See,
He doesn't have these.
you should have finished school before you opened up that nail salon. I told you. All right, got to think about those things and make sure that they are the same across the board. Like, nobody is gonna look if they're looking for the Polyprint, and then they go Polyprint. They're gonna end up over there and they're saying, "Oh, she don't exist" or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, a rebrand may be in order. I'm definitely considering it, because when I open up the School of Aesthetics, what am I gonna do then? That's gonna be even longer.
Mary Negron School of Nails
and Aesthetics, and I don't even know how to spell aesthetics. It's actually AE, but estheticians is a whole. Don't get me started on that whole thing. It is a big ass mess. Okay, to try to remember all that. All right, so that's why a lot of these schools, they end up going, like ISSBN or whatever .com.
I was specifically waiting for this one before I changed my name from Nails by Geo to something else. So I was like, I need to know this class first.
Listen, I'm telling you. Choosing your location, we kind of tapped on that a little bit earlier. right? You want to make sure that you're in a nice, safe environment, something that is clean and has, you know, that your clientele can get to you. For instance, I know some of y'all live way out in the country. You may be an amazing nail tech, but I can tell you this, I'm not driving 45 minutes out to Waynesboro to come get my nails done by you. You gonna have to come out here to Augusta.
My great aunt is a hairstylist, or used to be a hairstylist. She told me the same.
Now that's just me. There might be other people that will do it, but Miss Mary ain't driving all the way. I promise you there's somebody better than you out here in Augusta. That I ain't got to drive all the way out there. It's already gonna cost me, and then I got to do gas too.
And then
now,
you want a tip on top of that?
On top of that, no, the tip was I came all the way out here. I filled my gas tank. Okay, so keep that in mind. You need to find you a location that is going to work for not just you, okay? Because yeah, you don't want to drive all the way to Augusta either every single day. But I can guarantee you, if you making that money, honey, you will. Just like any other job, okay? You got to do it or you got to move. You may have, and here's the thing. I tell y'all this all the time. There are places in this country, not just country, in this city, in this state, where there are people that will gladly pay you $200 a set. You just may be living in the wrong area to get that type of money. Okay? So don't think for 1 second that your work is not worth a certain amount of money. You just may be living in a place where the demographic can't afford it. Demographics is very important. Okay? If you are living in an area, for instance, this is an area that is highly saturated with hospitals. And because there's hospitals, that means there's going to be lawyer offices. Okay? And also colleges. Okay, we got a very high amount. We've got what, 6 hospitals here, 5 hospitals just in this city. There's 3 sitting in one corner next to each other: MCG University and the Veterans Hospital. What y'all doing?
I'm trying to have this backup plan.
Okay, well, you need to think about that after you get the rest of this class, because you already ain't got half of the stuff I'm about to talk about. I know you don't.
Okay.
So wait. Because I'm only talking to you two and you a little bit, but you on your phone the whole time I'm talking. So I need y'all to pay attention.
Okay.
Or I can just talk to the people on the internet,
No.
which I can do that too. I do that when I'm at home. They be listening for real, for real. All right. So choosing your location is very important. Choose a good one. All right. Now, written agreements. So, Tyshell, at your illegal nail salon, did you have to sign a written agreement?
With my landlord.
Yeah, you did, right?
Yes.
And on that written agreement, did he say anything about anything pertaining to you having to have a license or any of that? Because he just wants your money. He don't even care that you can get shut down tomorrow, right? You still gonna have to pay that rent, right?
He did ask how soon, because then we would renegotiate.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did, but he didn't.
He did, but he
He's
didn't.
taking a risk on you.
He taking a risk
Yeah,
too.
so
Well,
it's like-
is this place a salon environment, or because I think
It's
I
like
was hearing it was
7
like a office
7
type.
on the floor, and then there's offices up.
Offices on the top, so it's salons and stuff on the bottom, and then offices and stuff on top. Okay, so with that being said, there's when we talk about written agreements, we're talking about leases, we're talking about non-competes. And for instance, I mean, I'll be completely transparent with you all. Shayla has a contract. Shayla is, I love Shayla to death, but we do business together. Okay. She didn't pay to go to school. She didn't have to, because she is under contract to work for me for a certain amount of time. Okay. Should she leave before that certain amount of time is up, then she owes me money for training her for free. Okay? So a lot of these salons, or not suites, but salons that train you, they'll make you sign non-competes, or they may make you sign a contract stating that, okay, you can work here in this amazing salon. We're sending you for we're going to bring in all these people, and it costs money to bring in people to train. But we're not going to do it for free. You need to sign a contract. So be very careful when you are signing these contracts, because they may have a non-compete in there. And a non-compete might say, well, if you quit, you can't work within 10 miles or, there's like a law about it. You can't say like 100 miles of me. It's like a certain radius that you can't work within a certain radius of this salon, because you will now be my competition and I trained your ass. That really hurts. That hurts big time. That's why you got to put paper on people. I'm going to tell y'all this, and I'm going to tell y'all this over and over again. Business is business. We laugh and we have fun in here and we joke and we, and I work with y'all and we have conversations personally and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is a business. I will take your ass to court. Right? Everybody got a contract, right? I will. Better ask some folks. Especially if you just go through the whole program and we had a conversation, yeah, this happened, and then you leave owing $3,000-$4,000 and then you decide you're not gonna pay me. Oh, I'm gonna take you to court. Definitely gonna put it on your credit. That hurts. Y'all know how important credit is. You gonna see my name all over it. Okay, so and you knew that when you signed up for school. Y'all all signed a debt collection agreement. Gusta Collection's gonna be calling that ass. Because they called me. Medical bills ain't, y'all know it's not legal to put those on your credit, right? Okay, I just want y'all to know. But they can call all they want to. Yeah, they be collecting from me and I don't answer their call. So keep it business. Everything. Keep it business. All right? Again, you if you don't, it's gonna bite you in the butt. All right? So business regulations and laws. There are there's difference between laws and rules, right? We established that in the chapter when we were talking about state board, right? Who do you have to answer to when it comes to business? It's a few places, few things, especially when it comes to nails. Who do you have to answer to? Who could come and put a "your ass is closed" sign on the door? A cease and desist. Who can do that? The state. Who else can do it? The city. Who else can do it? Your landlord. Because if your landlord, if you rent a building, for instance, I have suites over on Broad Street. Like I'm tell y'all, like I told them yesterday, don't ask me about one because they full. Okay, that's why I don't mention it to y'all. But if they tell me that they're going to be doing barbering in there, and then I go in there and they running a juke joint, an illegal, bar and club, then guess what? They have violated their lease, and I now have the right to put them out and sue them for the rest of the lease term. Okay, so keep in mind, there are people that their job is to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. There's another one, the fire department. The fire department can come in here at any moment. And this is why, and y'all probably think I'm crazy sometimes. Y'all probably like, why Miss Mary be so worried about that? Because I can get shut down. For instance, the fire department come in here and y'all got them cords laid across the floor, just laying across the floor, left there after you leave and go home. Right? It's one thing if y'all working, sitting down working, but you just got cord. It's a trip. You can trip and fall. Right? Not to mention, we got cords plugged into cords and plugged the cord. That's a fire hazard. You can't just leave that stuff overnight and leave it there until it can catch on fire. Right? Things like these fire extinguishers. You ever wonder why they're right there where you can see them? Hopefully you know, because if you need it, you know where it's at, right? But if the fire department came in here and there wasn't a big, that's a fire extinguisher, don't you? You know that. Do you need a sign that says that? No, but the fire department will shut you down if you ain't got it. And they also require you to have a certain amount of fire extinguishers depending on the size of your space. So my question to you is, and I know that this hasn't happened because it hasn't. Has the fire department came and visited your salon yet? I know. You know why? Because in order for the fire department to come and visit your salon, you have to apply for a business license. And when you go to the business license office, they say, have you had the fire department come out and do your inspection yet? And you're going to say, no. They're going to say, oh, I'm sorry. We can't issue a business license. And then there's an order to this. And then you're going to say, guess what? I got it. They came. And then they're going to say, oh, okay. Well, did you get your salon license yet from the state? And you're going to be like, no, I didn't do that either. Because I'm working illegally and I ain't even supposed to have one. Right? I'm only telling you this because I don't want to scare you, but I kind of do. Because you get in trouble with one and it's a domino effect. Okay? It's a domino effect. One of them gets you, and then you can't deal with the other one because you ain't dealt with this one. Okay? You got, so I've had these out from yesterday. So this is the school license, sorry. Rumi's gonna hand me that when she comes by. It's all right, I got another one because I've been meaning to put it in a frame. So you gotta have I gotta have a school license, because now anybody can open a school. And this is what I was gonna tell you. You better get your husband to get you that salon license in his name. Because you could have that business open, but you can't have a business license, which is that piece of paper that says Augusta 2025, without the salon license, without the fire inspection. And the they're not going to issue the business license without both of those. So come with them in hand. Otherwise, they're going to send you home and say, get it done. The fire inspection is not free. And they don't care even when you're in a suite, right? You're in a suite situation. So you know that the owner of the suite has a business license. Thank you, baby. The owner of the suite has a business license. So you're like, oh, well, let me just get your fire inspection. No. The city wants all their money, honey. They want it all. And that's all. This is just tax money that you're paying. It's a tax, okay? Then, not only do you have to get the fire inspection, and you won't pass it unless you call these people right here to get you one of these. What are they called? Augusta CSRA fire extinguishers. You want the phone number? 706-863-6357. Okay? If you don't have a fire, because the fire department don't give you no fire extinguisher, you got to go buy those. And guess how much those are to have a year? You got to buy the fire extinguisher, and then you got to pay for them to send that fat guy in here every year to come and inspect it and make sure that it's got, you see the little, all them tags are there for a reason. It says it was inspected this year. And I paid him on top of the fact that I bought the fire extinguishers, not one, not two, but 3 of them for the size of this building at $200 a pop. It's not cheap to have a business, lady. It's expensive. Then you got to pay them $100 a year to come in and inspect each one of them.
Like $100 each.
Well, the inspection, they just is a fee. And I could be lying about the exact amount, but it's something like that. I know it's more than $10. Okay? It costs for them to drive all the way from Martinez to come and inspect your damn thingy thing. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes, dear.
So,
Hi.
The first thing we have to get is the fire extinguisher stuff, and then we get the fire, like, department.
Yeah, because the fire department's not going to approve you, and if your inspection is not complete until you get that.
And then we go to get the salon license after that.
You can get the salon license anytime, but here's the thing. The salon license, that means, here's the problem. See, let me just tell. No, it is backwards for you. Let me tell you, and I don't mean to call you out, but you know, you told your business. Hell, now you got to damn listen to the story. It's all right. I'm not gonna call the state board on you. Hopefully your people ain't. But if you tell the state board that you have a salon, guess what they're gonna do? they're gonna come and inspect it. They always inspect new salons. They're gonna come very shortly after you apply for the license. So your husband, let's just say, if you wanted to go the back doorway, you can say, okay, well, my husband, anybody can open a salon. You don't have to be licensed to open it. However, you have to have people working in it licensed. So they're gonna come and then your ass sitting there with no license. That's a $500 fine on your husband and you. Okay, so I would hold off. See, you put the cart before the horse. So now you can't do none of this because you got to wait till you get your license. Because if you do, you're going to set one thing off, that's going to set another thing off, that's going to set another thing off, and then you're going to end up in trouble. So my advice to you would be to keep paying that rent because you got to, and lay low. And don't say nothing to nobody because these hateful heifers out here will call the city. You don't want to get in trouble with the city because that's a fine. That's what, have y'all heard my story? You've been on my TikTok. It's a 2-part story about what happened to me and why I even have a nail school now. I'd still be sitting pretty in my house, traveling the whole world with no overhead, no bills, no nothing. And I thank God for it every day, for that hateful bitch calling the city on me. I thank God for it. But it still cost me a lot of money. I had to go down there and beg them people. And they said, nope, sorry, you can't have you cannot have a nail salon in your house, ladies. You cannot. It's no different than you can't have a restaurant in your house. Yeah, you got a kitchen in there. So what? You still can't have no, the city is not going to approve it. There's certain rules and regulations that the city has. And number one, here's the biggest one and the most obvious one. You cannot have a business in a residential area. And if you live in a house and you got neighbors, guess what? It's a residential area. The only places that have residential / commercial capabilities are usually going to be like downtown. And those are like grandfathered in because you got businesses on the street and apartments upstairs, right? But they still have separate entrances. And if you read the state board rules for a nail salon or a hair salon or any other type of salon, they have very specific rules. And this is why you'll see there are people that have hair salons and stuff in their houses. But they've also got they built a whole nother entrance on the back of their house. It used to be this lady when I lived out in Hepzibah. She was way out in the county. And she did everybody's hair at Hepzibah High School. And when I got grown and I started doing it, I was like, well, I knew people that had salons in their house, and she did. And you know what she had to do? She spent $25,000 to build a piece on the back of her house that had its own entrance. She even had a wheelchair ramp. That just tell you how, when I tell you, she saw everybody. To get into her salon, you didn't step foot nowhere in her house. Her house was separate. And it was out in the county where it's in the middle of the country, and they can do residential and commercial. Because it's usually these places are farms and homes. You see what I'm saying? So and you don't want a nail salon. I just told you out in Waynesboro, they only got one and they only need one. Because there ain't that many people out there. Okay?
So they don't get a lot of stuff anyway. They just get the plain. They do the
plain Jane. I know that little salon out there, Asian owned, all of that. They just one salon, been there for 100 years. And anybody who opens a salon there ends up not doing so well unless they have like they do their own private thing or whatever. But
everybody goes to that.
Everybody. Ain't nowhere else to go unless you want to drive all the way to Augusta, right?
Ain't nobody trying to do that.
Nobody's doing that for plain regular. Exactly. So keep that in mind. So like I said, my advice to you is to lay low. And just go ahead and get this here license and get it and do it the right way so you don't get in no trouble. Because I had to pay a $500 fine to the city. Luckily, I had a nail salon, all this money saved up from not having no overhead, that I had a salon suite the next day in Solar Salon Studios, which cost me after that $225 a week. So I went from no overhead to nearly almost $1,000 a month just to have a salon because of some hateful heifer. Mad because she broke a nail and I wasn't in the country to fix it. But you know, say la vie. It's all good. It got me. She will be in my. I will name that hoe in my book.
You're lying.
I'm live right now. Natalie Holloman. She's the one. Okay. That called the city on me. She sure did. The city showed me the booking. They were like, "Oh, it seems as if you running a nail salon." I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." They were like, "Well, we have a email with a name in the name, had the email and everything. It showed House of Bling, 120, blah blah blah, such and such drive." And I'm like, "No, that's not me." Meanwhile, I had a whole client sitting in there. I was doing her nails. A whole client. So you know. At the end of the day, these people they like you until you can't do their nails. They like you until you they break a nail and they spent their whole check on getting their nails done and they mad because you fully booked and can't fix it. I'm just telling y'all from experience. So don't fall into that trap.
So what would be each step to get everything done? Like not everything.
Well, first step is get your nail tech license. Okay, that's the first step. Second step would be finding the building or where you're going to work, right? If it's going to be suite or if it's going to be salon or whatever. Now, here's the thing. You guys probably don't even realize this, but if you booth rent in somebody else's salon, you still got to do this whole process. You still got to do this whole process. The city wants all their money. You got to have a business license for your little booth that's sitting next to somebody who got a whole salon with a business license too. If you're running your own business, that means you're paying your own taxes, then they want their tax money too. And that little green piece of paper right there costs $125 a year if you are making under $100,000 a year. When you start making more money, that's when they charge you more. Like it might be $200 for somebody who's making $500,000 or more, and then $1 million or more might be. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I ain't never paid that much. I only pay $125. So get your business. You find the salon you're going to work at. Then you're going to do all your inspections and all. You need to go ahead and get the fire department out there. Get them out the way because they'll come and inspect anything. Okay. They don't care because they don't have nothing to do with the business part of it. They just do. You're paying for the inspection, and you better make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be. If there is a outlet that's bad, or if you see them exit signs right there, those exit signs.
Oh yeah.
First of all, they're not cheap, and second of all, they have to be installed a certain way. Meaning, for instance, if any of y'all ever been in a situation where all the lights went out. The only thing that stays on is that right there. The exit sign stays illuminated and those lights come on because in the event of a fire, all the lights are going to go out and we need to know how to get out of here, right? And here's the thing. I was so pissed when I opened up this place because I was like, I had to do my fire inspection twice because it was new. It was a new business venture. So everywhere else I've been only had one exit, the front door. So I only had to buy one exit sign. Well, then the fire department came here, and even though he was flirting and all of that, he still wouldn't let me pass because I had to have two because I had two doors. So then I had to have somebody come in and install another one and pay for another exit sign. It got very costly.
Is that like so? With me being in his building and I'm in a room in that building, is the same thing?
If he passed his inspection, you should pass your inspection, but you still got to pay for it and you still got to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need one inside of the room where I am.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. What if a fire happens in there? You going to run all the way down the hall and get his? You got to have your own. Because a fire can happen in the nail salon very easily. If there's a plug in there, you can have a fire, okay? Another thing that I ended up having to do, did y'all know that the locks on your doors, is for you to pass a fire inspection must be a deadbolt lock that locks from the inside with the switch, not a key. Because what if the key's over here, the fire's right there, or the fire's over here, the key's back there, and or the key, I ain't even got the key because somebody locked me in. fire hazard. You got to be able. The people got to be able to get out of the building with a twisty knot. And I had a deadbolt on the back that was just a key, so I had to go and get another damn lock from my. It's all kinds of things. Read the rules and just you can go by any fire station right there. Okay, you can go on the website on AugustaGeorgia.gov and get all of this information. Okay, so you're going to get your fire inspection. Then you're going to go ahead and get your state board salon license. Okay, so this is the school license. Then I also have my nail tech license. Okay, and all of these things have to be posted in order for you to pass your inspection. Okay, the state board's going to come and inspect and make sure you got hot and cold running water. They're going to make sure that you've got a bathroom somewhere in the building for some people to use. Okay, my inspection is totally different than your inspection as a nail salon, but it's very similar. Like I have to have 2 bathrooms, I have to have 4 sinks, I have to have 3 pedicure chairs, I've got to have 15 desks. In your case as a salon, you don't have to have all those specific things. But here's another thing: in a suite situation, a lot of people don't know. If you're in a suite where you can put your hand, like in say a tattoo shop, where you can put your hand over and touch the other people, if you have that going on, it's not going to pass. You've got to have walls that go from ceiling to floor, with a door that closes and locks separately to keep other people out of there, and dust from your salon going into their salon, and blah blah blah. Right? So it's so many things, and all of this is on the state board website. Everything that you need to have in order to pass a state board inspection. And trust and believe, they will issue you the salon license. They will issue it to you without coming, but they're coming. And you don't know when they're coming. They don't tell you when they're coming. They don't call you and let you know they're coming. They just come. And they're going to come first thing in the morning, what you say on your website, what time you're open. So that means if they come in, see, again, these are some things y'all probably like, why is Ms. Mary so crazy about this stuff? If they come in this door and they look inside that dirty utility closet, and that soiled linen bag at 9 a.m. and I ain't even open yet, and they see dirty linens in there, they're going to find me. If they look in any one of these trash cans, that's why I tell y'all, empty your trash can, clean your tables. Because it's a fine on me. And guess what that means? I don't pay fines. I have been a nail tech for 30 years and I don't pay fines. Guess who's going to pay it? It's going to be added onto that invoice. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll be like, who was sitting there? Let me look at this damn camera. Oh, yeah. $25 a piece. Imagine if there was $25 a piece of each one of these trash cans. There's 25 trash cans in this building. Right? So, and that's why me and Shayla, we stay after work cleaning this place up. We ain't gonna do that no more. We got us a whole duty list coming out in the next couple of weeks. When she said when she's doing things, she ain't staying over to clean up after grown people. Y'all can wipe your own tables down. Y'all can empty your own trash. Y'all can do all of that. That's not too much to ask, because I'm not paying a janitor. Okay? Not for 1 day a week. We're not doing that. Okay? We're not doing that. We're not doing it for 3 days a week. Not when grown people in here, because my job is to teach you how to run your own salons, right? You're gonna have to do it in yours, because when they show up and they're gonna look the same. They're gonna look in your trash cans. If you got food, that's why y'all, when y'all come and y'all eating like full on food in here, you do realize if state board come in here, that's a fine, right? Oh yeah, I'm fine with it. Go ahead, eat. They gonna fine you, and then I'm gonna fine you too. I don't mind. It ain't on me. I can't eat for 25 people. But when you are doing nails in a salon, it is against the state board rules to have food on your table. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing nails over here, but if you're sitting here eating while you're doing nails, that's a state board fine. Did y'all know that it was a state board fine for you to be wearing flip-flops in the salon? And if your toes are exposed, Arumi? It's a fine. Did you know it's a fine if your client is wearing open-toed shoes in the salon
Really?
unless you're doing a pedicure.
Oh, unless you're doing it.
Y'all, it's a fine. I'm not even lying to you. Y'all go in there and look. You can look. There's a yellow piece of paper. There's a white piece of paper hanging on the wall. That was my last inspection. It says 0 fines. I'm very proud of it. You can read all of the state board. It said if any student is in here, or me, you see, I don't walk around in flip flops, and when I do it, I have to let y'all know. Look, don't judge me because I got a cut on my foot or something like that. I don't do it because it's a fine. The state board will fine you. Open-toed shoes while you're working and if they don't fine you, it's because they just being nice that day. So my job is to train you so that you don't say, well, I didn't know that. Miss Mary didn't tell me that. No, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I told you. You just chose to do. That's why I tell y'all, when you grow up and become big girl nail tech, you can do whatever you want to do. But in here, I'm going to teach you the right ways, and I don't give a damn what these people on the internet say. I don't care what they say because they ain't read the state board a day in their life. They ain't even got a license to even apply for one, to be on the state board website. Okay? So you get your fire inspection, then apply for your license. You apply for the salon license. Hopefully you already applied for your nail tech license if you're doing it the right way, right? Right. So you're not going to do any of this until you get your nail tech license, right? Right. Okay. So, because you already should have your nail tech license before you start working in a suite or trying to look for a suite, right?
Right.
So
But
we
the
just
salon license is
assume.
before the business license.
Yes, you have, because if you go to the business license office downtown on Green Street, it's right on this street, right here. Go straight down there, that big marble building. You go in there and you say, I would like to open a business, ma'am. And they're going to say, okay, we need your fire inspection. We also need your lease. Oh, they need your lease. You're going to need a copy of that. They want to see your lease, okay, that you actually are renting the building or renting whatever, okay. And then they also want to see your salon license. If you don't have those things, they're going to tell you, sorry, come back another day when you get those.
And
Hope you're not doing no business in there. Because if they send the city.
Like after you graduate, you get your salon license for whatever your suite is.
No, I mean the state board inspection. We have to get that.
No, they're going to do it whenever they feel like it after they issue your license. They'll issue the license. You'll get it. If you apply for it today, let's say any of you can do it right now. Get on the website, apply for it today. Because you got a building or whatever and you're going to open up your salon. Or maybe you're even getting it now so that you ain't got to get it later and it ain't even built yet. You can get it today. They're going to show up when they get ready. That's not something you're going to schedule. They want to pop up. They do pop-ups because they want to see if you are following the rules and regulations. If it's just like when you don't want, they're not going to let you know that they're showing up so that you can clean up and do the right thing, and then when they leave, you do it wrong.
Is that another documentation you would take to
The state board, the inspection?
The business license, you do the fire inspection and the state board inspection.
No, the state board inspection ain't got nothing to do with it.
Well,
They'll let you open a business all day long and fail an inspection. Hell, it's food places all over the place that fail inspections. They don't shut them down.
Yeah.
Okay, they just now the what you call it now the who are the people that do the food? What are they called? They the food and the people that come and do your restaurant inspections, they actually work for the city too, okay? But they just give you a bad score and then you got to post it for everybody to see. Your business gonna shut down all on its own if you get a 75 on your food score. People are gonna see that. It's usually posted right there in the window when you go to Crystal's. That's the only one. Health inspectors, thank you. The health inspectors come.
Okay.
Yeah, they come and they're totally different. We don't deal with the health inspectors. You do as far as tattoos are concerned, but we don't deal with health inspectors. The health inspectors are, they hire health inspectors to work for the state board. But you guys need to realize that the state board is not just checking in cosmetology salons. Okay? They're checking, those people over there that do fix cars, they got licenses too, automotive. They go over there to make sure they got licenses and that they're doing whatever they got to do. They go over here to these nursing this place over here to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So they're very busy people. right? I have been open 6 years. I've only had them come once, and that was my initial inspection. They don't really bother me. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I've been having nail salons and stuff. They don't bother me. They know I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, you know. But if they showed up today, we're good. Because obviously they're not going to fine you if you've got trash in the trash can and you've been working all day. But first thing in the morning, you got trash in the trash can, you're not even open. You haven't even seen a client. Why? Fine, right? Things like that. You walking around with flip-flops on and you know you're not supposed to at work? Fine, right? So just it will behoove you to take a look at those state board rules and regulations so your salon is up to date and has everything that it's supposed to have when they do come. Okay, like for instance, you got to have a dirty and clean base baskets, and they have to have a top on them. You got to have trash cans with tops on them. I didn't pick these trash cans because they was cute. They got to have a top. Like all of this stuff is very important. You have to have a clean salon. If there's dust all over the place and dirt everywhere, those are things that they will fine you for. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Again, I don't mean to scare you, but I do kinda. You should be. You should be. All of you, because the way y'all leave my school sometimes, I'm concerned. I'm highly concerned. Definitely not coming to your house to eat dinner. All right. So, opening your own business, again, daily operation is very important as well. Like for instance, what are your hours going to be? Are you going to be open on certain holidays? Are you going to allow do you have times for your schedules for your employees? Do you have schedules for different people like your receptionists, things of that nature? Record keeping is very important. Every time y'all buy something from me, I try to hand y'all a receipt, don't I? Mm-hmm. Because every single thing that y'all buy in here, to include the chips and soda, is deductible on your taxes.
Yeah, that's why Shayla's always like, you better take this receipt.
You better take this receipt.
Yeah. I got a whole little full.
You better take this recipient, okay? Because it is tax deductible. Every single thing is tax deductible, okay? Record keeping is important, especially for taxes, but not only that, just for your own knowledge on what you're spending money on, okay? Do you need to buy more lotion when you've got 16 bottles of lotion back there already? You know what I'm saying? I do it all the time. I go to the I can't tell you how many containers of mayonnaise I got in my pantry. Because I'm like, do I have mayonnaise? And then I buy more mayonnaise, and then I get home and I'm like, I got 6 containers of mayonnaise. I just started taking my stuff to not the Goodwill, but the food bank, because I got too much stuff in there. All right, so keep that stuff up to date. Now let's talk about business ownership and the different types of business ownerships there are out there, right? So you've got individual ownership versus corporation. Okay, now there's 2 different types of individual ownerships out there. So you got your sole proprietor, which I do not recommend. And why do you think I do not recommend? So your business, if you're a sole proprietor, means that it's really not a business. It's everything that you're doing is on your back. Sole proprietor means that you are using your own social security number to deal with everything, meaning your insurance, what you buy, all your taxes, everything. You would not be doing business taxes per se. It would still be under your social security number, okay? When you file as a LLC, your business now has its own, it's like it was born. It has its own social security number, and that's called an EIN, your employer identification number. This now means if there was for instance, if someone came in here and my business was under Mary Negron doing business as, and you've seen this before, doing business as Mary Negron School of Nails. One of y'all slip and fall, break a hip, have $25,000 worth of, surgery. I'm now responsible for that. Not only am I responsible for that financially, but also my insurance and all of that stuff, they're not going to cover it. Because it's not, I don't have business. You don't have business insurance and you got it under your own name. That's like that's like house insurance, right? So you're going to want to have an LLC so that if something happens, you are not responsible. Not only that, this is how, and see y'all, some of y'all don't like Donald Trump, but y'all better get like him. That man got 600 LLCs. Because when a business goes bankrupt, guess what? People say, oh, how does he have money? Because he's doing the smart way. It don't affect his personal finances. It only affects the business's finances. And you can shut a business down and open another one tomorrow. And that business is bankrupt. That business owes money, but guess who doesn't? I don't. Y'all ever wondered, you be seeing these folks and you like, damn, how they scamming? They're not scamming. They're doing what they're doing. They're following the law. A business closes, next thing you know, they got a whole nother business. Or maybe they changed it to another business name. Totally legal. They might have credit cards and all kinds of debt in that business name, and then they start afresh and anew with a whole nother one. Because it's like having another baby.
So does that business or the business attached to that LLC, does that have like its own credit report?
Absolutely. And so I say this to say, each and every one of you that are sitting in this room, I hope that your plan is to do nails, right? Because why are you here if you're not? I believe if I went to look on the website to see if you all have business LLCs, I probably wouldn't see very many. How many of you have an LLC right now for your nails? You need to be starting that now. You know why? Because it takes time to build credit. It takes time, and you'll want to have business credit. Trust me, you'll want to have business credit. So go ahead and don't have just one LLC. You have several. I've got 6. Okay, and all of them have their own credit. And how do you build credit? Go on websites like Uline and Granger, and these are all websites that sell like toilet paper, paper towels, stuff like that in bulk, right? So buy those things for your business in bulk. Buy them monthly, and hell, sell some of it to your family and friends just so you can have a credit rapport with these companies, okay? So that when you do get ready to buy things, for instance, when I bought my Tesla, I bought it in my business name. Because you know why? Every payment, every insurance payment, every little time I charged it with electricity, it was tax deductible. I promise you, I paid less in taxes this year than you did. And I probably made 4 times more money than you did. And I say that not to brag, but to let y'all know that you got to be smart when it comes to your finances. If you can't write it off, don't buy it. And you're like, well, what about my hair? Well, start going live. Start showing yourself in a business capacity. Do a commercial, an advertisement. I had to get my hair done and my nails done. Why, y'all? Every time I go and get my hair done is tax deductible because I be on this internet every day and I get paid from the internet. It's a business. My outfits, my shoes, my underwear. Gotta have panties on. Go to Victoria's Secret. That's taxed. I mean, I hope, unless y'all riding dirty over here. Going commando. That's what they call it. It's all tax deductible when it comes to, especially if you're in the public eye. Okay? And you may not see a reason. You better find one. Find one. As long as you can have a documented reason on why you did what you did or paid what you paid for your business. For instance, that motorcycle. Guess who about to be doing at least one DoorDash a week? Don't be surprised if I show up at your house with your McDonald's. Because I can tax deduct a portion of my gas, payment, insurance, all of that if I'm doing something with business on that motorcycle. Okay? So even your your supplies, all of that stuff. If you are, and if you, here's one way that you can deduct your supplies if you're doing YouTube videos where you're doing showing which what are they called, tutorials, or even open the box with me, open whatever, reviews and stuff like that, unboxing. I was trying to come up with the word, I couldn't think of the damn word. So all of this stuff, there's ways to deduct everything. On paper, this school might, let's just say, I'm just throwing a number out because this ain't true, this school might have made $1 million last year, right? But on paper, Miss Mary only made $20,000 last year. And a big portion of what I did make, I invested it in stocks. I invested it in all types of things. And anytime you invest money, it's tax deductible. And then once you get your income down, why do you think millionaires buy, let's just say, for instance, what's his name? He's the one that does the real estate. He's a real estate guru. I can't remember his name. He just bought a private jet. $1 million. And in his business thing. Why did he do that? So that he didn't have to give that money to the government, and he can ride in that jet. So a lot of the stuff that you see these millionaires riding around in, they got these really nice cars. Guess what? It's in their business name, and they can reap the benefits of having those things because they use them for business. And then, because a lot of times you say, well, I can't afford that. Well, yes, you can. If you didn't have to pay $10,000 in taxes at the end of the year, you could have spent $10,000 on a really nice down payment on a really nice Tesla. And then you wouldn't have had to pay that. It's like exchanging the debt from one place, or the money from one place to the other. Okay, so there's ways that you can do this. Y'all better get like Donald Trump ain't paid no. I think they said in his entire life he's only paid like $700 in taxes, and he's a millionaire. Y'all better learn from these people. Okay, so get your LLC. Do it today. And make sure you get it in the name that actually you can get it in.
That's what we look at. It said as long as we're not operating in the same industry.
Well, you better make sure that make sure that you can get the same, that you're not getting his name, because he'll try to sue you. It won't even let you get one in a name that's duplicate. Okay. So with that being said, corporations, partnerships, I do not recommend. Okay. Partnerships, 50-50 partnerships, I do not recommend. I told a story yesterday. I'm not going to tell it today, but basically we had two students that chummed up in here and decided they was going to open up a business together. They went into debt together because one of them decided she wanted to get a boyfriend in Atlanta and left the other one behind. One of them was on my live a few minutes ago. She was like, yeah, go ahead. Unhinged. Did I say her name? She know who she is. She was so upset. She was in my suites too. She had the double suite. Just got a text message one day that said, Ayana, you can't do no more manicures. You're done with manicures and pedicures. I mean, you got a few more fill-ins to do. But when you get past that point, don't do no more manicures. I don't know, baby. You're going to have to come up here and look. All right. So, yeah, just got a text message one day. I'm moving. I got a boyfriend. I'm leaving. Well, damn, we just opened a salon 3 months ago. And we got all this stuff together. What am I going to do? Miss Mary, can I get a small suite? Yeah, you can, but you got a lease on this big one, too. What you going to do? Oh. But she had to break that lease, and she had to pay a fee for that too, and there's a fee for that.
Yeah, it is. Those contracts.
Yeah, contracts. Don't play with my money, cause you making bad business decisions. Don't go into a partnership with nobody. Y'all don't sleep together. Don't go into a partnership. Don't do it with your husband neither.
That's why on this.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just my humble opinion. Corporations, when you guys get big, and that's a whole different story. S corps, C corps, and stuff like that. That's when you get into the position where you can start selling stocks to people. You're big. You making big money. I ain't even got an S corps or C corps yet. Okay, so there's certain tax benefits to having S corps and C corps, but we're gonna stick to LLCs. Okay, y'all go ahead and get it ASAP. Franchise ownerships are great, right? But I don't know of too many nail salon franchise ownerships other than Davi Nails that's in every Walmart. You know, those ones that are in Walmart, those are franchise. So a franchise, you got to have a certain amount of collateral, meaning money or property, in order to open one, and they can be very expensive. Sometimes, for instance, I know for a fact in order to open a Wet Willie's, because I wanted to open a Wet Willie's so bad, because I love Wet Willie's, back when I was a drunk. I love Wet Willie's. They have them in Savannah. They have them in Atlanta. They don't have them in Augusta. But you got to have $1 million in money or property in order to open a franchise like that. I was like, $1 million? That little building that they in Savannah don't even look like it's worth $1 million. But anyhow, the one in Savannah doesn't look like it is. It's a little hole in the wall, but you know that strip right there on the river is very expensive.
So franchise ownership is like a chain?
Yeah, chain, like a McDonald's, something big like a McDonald's, because anybody can open a franchise. The only problem with a franchise, though, is you have to follow the rules of the franchisee. So you're not going to go into a McDonald's and the people in there are dressed in a whole nother color, a whole nother uniform, a whole nother menu. You can't, you got to stick to what they want. So it's the same.
Target has red.
Exactly. Even if you are a franchise owner. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's a good thing. Now, purchasing an established business is a very good idea. And if you go on Craigslist right now, I promise you there's a nail salon somewhere for sale. The entire salon. They will sell you the chairs, the tables, everything down to the client. You get the clients and everything. However, when you do that, make sure that you are, taking a look at their financials, because they might you take on everything. You take on the bills, you take on everything. Yep, look at the Carfax. Exactly. All right. So, and make sure they have a good reputation, or you're going to have to change the name of that place. Yeah, I would do it anyway, to be honest.
I was going to say,
I would do it anyway. I wouldn't. You could absolutely do that. If you buy an established business, you're basically just buying the equipment and taking on all of their whatever debt or whatever, their bank accounts, all of that stuff. Everything can be transferred out. Okay. Now, we talked about leases briefly, right? So you just make sure that you're reading your lease. Make sure that you are fully aware of what is in your lease. For example, my lease for this place, I don't even think my landlord read the lease. He got in his lease that I was supposed to pay $100 more every year for every year that I was here, and he ain't never asked me and I totally forgotten. I never paid $100 more every year for every year that I've been here, and I hope he don't go back on that either, because that's a lot of money. But something like that could be in your lease and you didn't really pay attention to that. Okay, things of that nature. Make sure that you have insurance. Again, insurance is a big deal. You want to make sure you have insurance that is covers you against fire, theft, and lawsuits. That's malpractice insurance. Okay, fire, theft, and lawsuits. Liability insurance as well, in case someone hurts themselves, falls, something like that. Very, very, very important.
Is that a separate insurance than the...
They're all separate.
They're all separate.
Yep.
Okay, so is he... I have to have all of that for myself, but he just gave me a copy of all of his stuff. It's like a pack this big.
His insurance ain't gonna cover your malpractice.
He's like, I was like, yeah, because my husband asked me, so with her working in your building, how does that go?
His insurance ain't gonna cover your burglary of your stuff, because here's the thing. When I got my insurance for my building, right, I had to disclose how much each one of these desks costs, how much my computer costs, how much my reception, everything that I paid for, how many bottles of polish I had, and how much they were worth each, because if the place burns down, they'll replace it. Has he asked you any of those questions? Because he ain't updated his insurance to cover you, because he ain't covering you, because it will cost him more money. So you need to have that for yourself. Business insurance, and like I said, mine is about $50 a month for my malpractice and also liability insurance, which is about, you got to have at least $1 million worth of insurance a year, and it'll cost you about $50 to $60 a month.
And we could put that on our LLC as well? Or is
Absolutely. They're not going to do it for you, your personal. That's the thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's another thing. All right, so you need to get that LLC. You are taking a huge risk doing anything on anybody without an LLC or having insurance to cover you in case something happens. Because again, somebody gets a infection because you cut their cuticles, and next thing you know, they're in the hospital and they're septic, and then they die. Forget the house, forget the husband, forget the baby. They just give it all to them. Because you don't have no liability insurance. You can't get it without having a business. And having all of these things have to be done. And they need to be done in order. All right? And then, of course, like fire insurance, a lot of that is they usually tack that on, add it on. If y'all need anybody to go to Mike Ingham State Farm right over here on Broad Street. He can walk over here. Okay? And Mike Ingham State Farm, he covers my business. It covers my house, my business, my cars, everything. And when you're covered under all of those things all at one time, you get huge discounts, right? So if you got house, home, business, car, all of that stuff, okay? And you just tell him I sent you. I mean, he might give me like a bread t-shirt or something, I don't know. All right. So as far as business management, you guys, we've all worked for somebody, right? And we've all hated our boss. We've all had a manager we couldn't stand. I could go through all of this, but at the end of the day, don't be a shitty person. Like, follow the rules. Don't be a nasty, hateful person. People are not going to want to work for you. You know what I'm saying? Be the person that you want the people to be to you. You know, it's in the Bible. All right. But at the end of the day, try to be democratic when it comes to things. You know, don't be so I could go over this, but just be a good person, okay, when it comes to being a boss and stuff. I'm not going through all this good business procedures, good this and that. Y'all will learn how to run a business, your business, the way you want to run it, and you will see that if you don't do certain things, you won't have no employees. You won't have nobody that wants to work with you. They will say, no, don't go work there. That lady's awful. You know, they do it to me all the time. But it's usually people that got kicked out of school for whatever reason. People always have bad things to say when they do bad things, and they be held accountable. So I don't really care. Fuck them. All right. Allocation of money. So here's something you may want to consider as far as your expenses, because remember I said you guys have to do a spreadsheet, okay? When it comes to your income or where you're going to put money, okay? First of all, you should be having what we call a oh shit fund if something bad happens, all right? Or if you, for instance, when COVID happened, a lot of businesses still had to pay their rent. They still had to, even though they couldn't even take, customers or whatever the case may be, they still had to pay their rent. All right. So you want to have money set aside, but at the end of the day, let's talk about the other things that you'll be spending money on. So 50% of your money will go to salaries and commission. That means your salary, how much you pay yourself. Because when you get an LLC, you pay yourself. You write yourself a check, or you transfer money out of your separate bank account to your personal. Okay? So keep that in mind. If you start, they call it commingling funds. That'll get you in trouble. Don't pay your house rent out of your business account. You better transfer that money to yourself and then self pay you with your, you see what I'm saying? Don't do that. Keep it separate. But 53% is going to go to your salaries and your commissions. The other 13% is maybe your rent. Okay, so this is something that you need to calculate. So if you're, for instance, if you're only making if you're only making $1,000, let's just say you're making $1,000 a month. What is 13% of $1,000? $130. Okay, that means you can only afford $130 rent. This is just hopefully you're making more than $1,000 a month, okay, with nails, right? Because it's very easy for you to make $2,500 a week, okay? Very easy. I know that sounds crazy. Y'all like, no. Yes, you can, okay? You're going to have to work your ass off, but you can. If you can't afford, if your rent is not $130 a month, then you don't need to have no rent. You need to go work for somebody. Okay? Don't get no suite if you can't afford $130 a month. Okay? Now, with that being said, $130 a week is more likely what you might pay in a suite situation. That's about the lowest you'll get. Okay? So you should be making about $1,000 a week if that's the case, to be able to afford that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to afford it. Okay. Now, supplies about 5%, advertising 3%, and this is all of the money you're getting. Okay. You need to set this aside. Again, laundry, cleaning, repairs, insurance, telephone, all this stuff is broken down. And again, when I pull up this spreadsheet, it will make more sense. So your net profit, you should be putting 15% of the money, and this is a minimum, 15% of the money that you make aside into an account that you don't mess with. That's your profit, okay? Not what you paid. What you paid yourself is not profit. That was an expense that your business had to pay, okay? So in other words, 15% is savings, okay? That's your profit. Leave it alone. Unless you just want to be a bum and dusty and not have no money to spend to update your business, right? Because hopefully you're going to want to have money set aside to buy things for the business, right? If you ain't don't put no money aside, you're not going to have it. And again, I'm not talking about what you paid yourself. What you paid yourself, that 50% goes to your house rent, your house card note, your home electricity, all of that stuff. So hopefully you're making enough money to do that too, right? But whatever it is, if you stick to something around these numbers, you should be okay. All right, just allocate. My bank accounts, right? I have my personal, I got my business, I got my business savings, and then I have, my investment accounts. But you know how you can name your account? One of my accounts is named 15%. The other one is named, personal. Obviously, my personal pay myself. And then I've got the account that all the money goes into that I pay bills with. That's the expense account.
I'm sorry, is this all under the same like bank account?
So when you open up a business account, just so y'all know, when you get your LLCs, because you're going to need to. I mean, if you do a sole proprietorship, you're doing exactly what I told you not to do. Okay? But when you open a business account, they give you 3 accounts, not just one. Personal account, they give you 1 and a savings, right?
Yeah.
When you open a business account, they give you 3 because you need an expense account, one that the money comes in and then you disperse it. All right? It's just I can't remember what they call it. It's an intake account. The money, all the money comes in. Everything that you guys pay me goes in there. Okay? Then I have an account that is a savings account, right? So usually they give you an account that's a savings account that has like a little bit of an interest yield, meaning the more money you put in there, it makes money. But I done already told y'all, invest your money. That's a waste of time putting money in a savings account. But anyhow, 15% of that money that comes into that intake account goes into that account, which is where you keep your profit. The other account is where you put all the money that you're going to spend all this stuff with, right? So that's going to be your expense account. Intake, outtake, and then save. And then you got your personal. So in total, I have about 8 accounts. 8 or 9. Because I have separate businesses, y'all. That money, my YouTube money doesn't go into my Mary Negron School of Nails money. That's a whole nother business. That's an entertainment company. My real estate stuff does not go into my commingling funds. Okay. Yeah, it costs a lot because then they charging you $25 per account every month if you don't keep a certain balance and stuff like that. So it could cost money. So just be smart about what you're doing. Don't have 15 accounts if you can't afford $300 a month in fees coming out of it. Okay, because they do charge them fees. But this is basically how you want it, how you're going to want to set it up. You're going to pay yourself 50% of the money that comes in. Okay. And then the rest of it is going to be allocated to all your expenses. And then you're going to save 15% of your money. Okay. That is smart if you want to stay afloat. Whatever that is. I don't care if you're only bringing in $100. Give yourself $50 and put $15 in your savings account, and then the rest of it's going to bills. I don't know which ones, but it's going to bills. Okay, that's just the best way to do it. And again, rich people don't get rich by saving their money. Saving for what? You might die tomorrow. How you gonna get rich off of money? You gotta invest it. Investing is very, very, very important. Okay, stocks, y'all. Stocks, bonds, real estate. Okay, let me get off of that. All right, so we talked about record keeping an inventory of what you have. I try my best to stay very organized. As y'all can see, I try to be organized. Y'all be messing me up. Every time I go over there, I'm like, why is this here? Why is that drawer even open like that? I don't even know. It's just wide open. We can shut it. Like stuff like that, keeping everything organized. Again, I am going to eventually put some labels on there. Y'all should see back here, labels everywhere. I know where everything is, even though it's kind of chaotic. All right. But you want to know, do I need to buy monomer? Do I need to buy? Worst thing in the world is when you go over there to reach over and you pour out some monomer and it ain't nothing in there. You need to have an inventory of how much stuff. Always keep extra things, but don't buy too much mayonnaise. That's all I'm going to say. All right. You don't want to have too much mayonnaise. It goes bad. All right. Booth rental. This is important. The difference between booth rental and commission. Does anybody know?
Booth rental is like when you pay for like your spot. It doesn't matter how much money you have coming in. You have to pay. Like if your booth rent is $1,000, you have to pay that no matter if you have customers coming in, whether if you don't have customers coming in. Commission, they take everything based off of what you pay. So if your commission is 40%, you got to give them 40% of everything.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. So booth rental, in a nutshell, you are your own boss. It's like releasing a building. It's like having rent to pay. Like, however, and with booth rent, generally the only thing you're responsible for is the rent. Like the place you're renting out of will pay the light bill, the phone bill, the whatever the bills are, all of that stuff that's in the building.
Give you the supplies for free.
And they doing a lot to do that because they don't have to.
Yep.
Okay. When
you're
you're booth renting, they are not responsible for paying your taxes. They're not responsible for paying your insurance. Like it's in your case, they're not responsible for nothing. They are giving you a room to live in. Okay, that's it. And and Chris said here that it's 1099 versus W-2. Okay, you will get a 1099, whereas when you're an employee, you get a W-2. Right? If you work somewhere, every year they give you a W-2. With a booth rent, you will get a 10, or you will fill out a 1099. Your tax person is going to make you fill out a 1099 for you, and that's basically where you itemize all of these things that I done told y'all to keep receipts for, so that you can get it deducted off your taxes. Okay, so 1099 versus W-2. So you're responsible for your record keeping, your taxes, all of those payments to the IR and the S. Okay. Your insurance, to making sure you keep up with your own booking, everything. They do not provide you nothing, not no polish, nothing. Now, if they do allow you for some reason, let's just say, for instance, this was a salon right here. And I was like, okay, well, I will do booth rent. Like you, and I would say you rent a table. And I say, it needs to be in writing. In my lease or my rental to you, you're allowed to use the polish that we have here. A lot of booth renters would say, no, you got to bring your own or have your own. Okay. So make sure you keep that in mind. when you're getting into these situations that you have everything on paper. It's not personal until you make it that way. And then we got to go to court. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, what is commission? She said commission is like a percentage. So in the beauty industry, 50-50 is standard, y'all. Okay? And I said this yesterday, but y'all be getting all up in arms. Oh my God, 50% of my money. Baby, do you know how much this rent is? And then a lot of times people move into a salon to work in a salon where there's commission because they know there's clients. I just gave you a freaking full book of clients. Baby, go get your own then. Start from zero and go from there. Hannah works in a very, very big nail salon that has probably more clients than any salon in Augusta. Why, I don't know. Well, I do know. Because it's beautiful in there. It's very nice. They have an ambiance. They have a freaking piano. Do they have the little black boy coming in playing that piano sometimes from the church? We got this little boy. He comes in and he puts his little thing. He be Paris nail bar, right? You go in there, you can go in there and be brand new out of school and be working every hour on the hour. How dare you complain to me about 50-50? See how well you survive coming straight out of nail school, don't know nobody, ain't from Augusta, no none of that, and you just go open up a salon and you see how much you will appreciate 50-50. Now, with that being said, that's standard, but most salons do 70-30, 60-40. What do they do there?
I think it's 50-50.
As it should be, because if I had a salon that I had to pay $20,000 for a baby grand piano in there for the people who don't even want to hear that mess, if I had to pay that much money, you'd be paying me 50-50 too.
I want to say on Mother's Day they made 20K.
She knows. She's the receptionist. She does the numbers. $20,000. This is why they don't care if you licensed or not in there. They will hire you in a heartbeat because they will pay that $500 fine and won't even blink a fake eyelash.
Do you know TL nails?
I do know them. I mean, I know everybody here in this Augusta when it comes to their salon. I mean, I don't personally know the owner or anything like that, but I think that's Tony. Tony.
He said it comes on to Andrew on Wednesday.
Andrew, sorry, that's not his real name, but you know,
Yeah.
I used to go to Andrew and get my nails done years ago. But TL Nails been around for a minute. So, I mean, they'll hire you, but don't you dare complain about a 50-50. Matter of fact, when you first start, I'm going to start you at 50-50 because you'll work your way up. When you start making my salon some money, then I might say, okay, I can afford to give you, you know, a little bit more money in commission because you're making money. But when you first start, even if you're going to a place that has a platter of clients for you, you are not going to be the one that they're like, is Tashelle here? Until they get to know you, until people have come to you, okay? So commission, though, here's the thing, and this might even be happening, I think we talked about this yesterday, this might even be happening in the salon she works at. With commission, they are required to give you everything. You are an employee. You don't even have to buy your nail brush. You shouldn't have to pay for your uniform. None of that. They should provide. When you go work at McDonald's, don't they give you a nice little gray t-shirt or purple t-shirt or whatever color t-shirt it is they give you? They say, here, you need to wear that. Oh, you only gonna give me one? Yep, you need to wear our shit. Every day. Or you gonna come in here smell like French fries.
Shops, it's like booth rent and commission together.
That's a good question. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, because you're responsible for everything, but you still have to pay commission. Like you have to buy your own ink, your needles, you have to supply your own products, your own scan sheets, everything. But you still have to pay booth rent. Depending on a place.
So they're technically breaking the law.
That's what I thought.
They're not. There's no such thing. Like I said, The chat is my co-host. Chris just said there's no such thing as a 1099 employee. That is an oxymoronic statement. There's no such thing. You're either 1099 or you're an employee. Okay? You are either one or the other. Okay? So with that being said, if they require you to wear a uniform, then they need to buy it. I even had to tell Shayla. Shayla was like, I got to go get another uniform because they only gave us an allowance for one. I was like, well, technically you shouldn't have to pay for that. But if you do, at least save the receipt so you can deduct it, on your taxes or whatever. But, again, if they are doing that, then they are breaking the law. Okay, you don't have to pay for nothing. You just show up for work, do your hours, go home. They're responsible for your taxes. They're responsible for your paying your taxes for not at the end of the year, but I mean deducting your taxes. They're supposed to have liability insurance on you. They're supposed to have all of that in there. Okay, so keep that in mind when you guys go and work in these places and they tell you need to buy your own barbicide. First of all, you're supposed to have that anyway in a salon. And second of all, what do you mean I need to buy something? I don't need to buy nothing. Buy my gas to get here. That's about it. Okay? So, everybody understand the difference between the two.
And that's just something like if it, for example, were to happen, is that something that we just like walk away from?
I mean, you could be a BI about it and call the city. Or have the IRS come down there because they only doing that for tax purposes. They don't want to, pay so much in taxes, or they want to do, they don't want to be responsible for, or they don't want to pay more in insurance. Because technically, like for instance, when you go to buy your insurance, your liability insurance, if you've got they wanted to know how many students can I have in here at max and other human bodies, right? So if I have 20 students in here, that means I could potentially have 40 people in here, because if each one of y'all had a client, which would be so amazing. But if each one of y'all had a client, that would mean 40 people, 40 plus me, right? So with that being said, I had to tell them there's a possibility that 40 to 45 people could be in here at maximum. And that my insurance would need to be able to cover that. So if they steadily hiring people, they got to update their insurance, and a lot of times they don't because they don't want to pay more. Okay, so all of that is they're breaking the law. Okay, now you mentioned another form of employment, which is salary plus commission. Okay, so it's the difference between booth rental and salary plus commission. Okay, salary plus commission, there's places like, I remember back in the day when I was in cosmetology school, J.C. Penney's and Dillard's would come to our school to try to recruit us. And the way they did things was they would be like, okay, you will be on a salary plus commission based pay. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Well, that basically means because you're new and out of school, they don't want you to go without getting paid, because if you're on commission, even if you're on commission, if only one person comes into the salon, you're not going to make enough money to eat, okay? Even if you're on commission. Now, salary just means that they'll say, okay, well, we're going to pay you $300 a week no matter what, but if you go over that, you see more clients than just that 300, then you'll get salary plus the commission of 70% or 60% or 50% of the money that you make on clients. So that way you're guaranteed a check, so that you're never just like, oh my God, I don't have no clients. No, we're going to pay you a paycheck, okay? But you're only this much, and then you got to hustle for the rest of it. So there's an opportunity that you could make more than that. But a lot of nail techs just sit there, and I used to see them, they be sitting there in the dealers just like, waiting on a client. Baby, I'm about to be out here in the mall pulling them in if I'm on a salary plus commission based pay. Okay, so there is that too. All right. Chris said Great Clips is hourly plus a commission structure. Places like Great Clips, things like those big companies, they usually do that. Okay. Now, let's see. Now, this is another important thing you guys need to know. So this is a floor plan. All right. You guys have to create a floor plan of your pretend salon. It can be digital. There are so many apps out here, like on your iPhone. You can download these floor plan apps. They're free, where you can create a 3D model of your salon, which is always kind of cool. Or you can hand make one, okay, to show us what your pretend salon is going to look like. Because remember, this is all a plan. This is not something that you have already. She'll probably need to just go ahead and take pictures of hers for hours. Okay. So with that being said, that is part of your project. Okay. So you got your business plan, your floor plan, and then we'll get to the last two in a second. Okay. So again, I'll take this. And why am I making you do this? Well, when I opened this school, the state board required me to do this. Okay. I had to have a floor plan to show where I was going to put everything and all that good stuff. All right. Here's another example of one, a floor plan. Yeah, it's sitting over here. I'm gonna show it to this. That's a whole different. That's another part of it. Okay. Getting ahead of me. Getting ahead of me. No, you all right. You decided you want to do it. It's fun. It's actually a fun for you seniors. Y'all thought it was a pretty fun project, right? It was kind of fun, right? I thought it was fun when I did it in school. You know, doing this project. It'll make you think about what you're gonna do when you get out of here, and make you realize maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I need to scale back a little bit, okay? Now, when it comes to hiring people, y'all, I don't even like to do it myself, so I can't even give you no good advice other than when you hire people, make sure that they at least are, they meet your salon culture, okay? If you are, you may, again, I could tell you for 100% sure that the culture of Tasty Seafood and Wings is I don't give a damn. Show up and just work, because we can't find no good people. That's the culture in there. Because the other girl who was coming in to take her place, she had on pajamas too. I was like, wow. Anyhow, personal grooming is very important. Make sure you pick people that, again, are part, because it may be part of your culture that you don't mind if they, don't brush their hair in the morning or don't brush their teeth in the morning. Maybe that's the vibe of your salon. Me personally, please wipe the eye boogers out your eyes before you come to my job, please. All right. Your image as it relates to your business. Again, there's some places that they don't care, right? I can imagine that some tattoo artists are real chill people that don't really they don't really, maybe they have locks or something and they haven't had them locked in like a year. That they kind of lax on the personal grooming part. Maybe that's the look you go for. I mean, it's all about your personal style and how you do things. However, don't hire someone that when they come into your interview late, or they don't have the look you're going for, or they don't personally groom themselves. Don't hire them and expect them to do it when they come to work. That's why people, when I would go to work to job interviews, they'd be like, are you gonna cover your tattoos? I'm like, no, because I'm not finna cover them every day. This is Georgia, it's hot. I'm not putting on a long sleeve shirt every day. If they don't like my tattoos, then I'm not a good fit for their company. And luckily, you guys are lucky. Nowadays, you can't go to nowhere where there ain't nobody with tattoos all over them. Even these doctors be covered in tattoos. So, I mean, it's just the culture of, people in the U.S. So, good communication skills and work history is very important. Now, payroll, that's a whole nother thing. When you start getting into doing payroll and stuff like that, please hire a professional. Like we have a huge company here called ADP. They literally are payroll professionals, and they do it for the entire country. The entire country. They cover companies from all over the United States and do their payroll for them. They will work for somebody small like you too, if you're going, because I would not recommend doing it yourself as far as trying to keep up with taxes and stuff like that. All right. Now, HR, all that stuff, and y'all know who the ADA is. They're the People with Disabilities Act, ADA, all that stuff. Some places, like for instance, that's another thing. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I'm lucky because this building was built in 1954, so I'm out of that window. But if you get a newer place, you have to make sure, and this is something the fire department will look into as well. If your doors are not wide enough for a wheelchair to go through, it's discriminatory. Okay? and again, my building was built so long ago that I don't have to remodel it. But if it's a newer building, that's why nowadays they build commercial buildings up to those specs, because it can make it so that you can't open up the business.
Don't most places have to have like a wheelchair ramp or?
Well, some do. It just depends on the type of business. Yeah, for sure. But again, most commercial businesses, this is what I'm saying. When you start talking about, oh, I want to do this in my house.
It's not.
Okay, they don't. Residential built homes do not require. I mean, if you were in a wheelchair, you could not get into my house. I have steps to get into my house. So, but commercial business, if you notice, all these newer buildings that are being built, they all have those little scoops that you can get into. That's just the way it's built. Okay, so it must be ADA compliant. Okay. All right, your front desk person is the most important person in your business. They will make or break you. They will make your employees want to quit or make them want to stay. Ain't that right, Hannah? Your receptionist is the one who you better give her flowers on National Receptionist Day, chocolates and everything. Make sure that she's well taken care of, because she will do the same for you. And for instance, in Shayla's salon where she's working right now, she can't, well, I ain't gonna say she can't stand her. She says the lady ain't very fair. She, they're supposed to give clients, because none of them are on appointments. They're all walk-in basis, right? They're supposed to give the clients to them in order and equally, right? So whoever came in first gets the first client, second, third, whoever walks in the door, whatever. If they come in together, they do it like that. And she's like, sometimes she skips over me. And I'm like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because you're a lesbian. Who knows? It could be. Maybe it's because who knows? It could be all kinds. It could be anything. It could be she forgot. Maybe she made a mistake. I don't know. You do that sometimes. See, it happens sometimes. It could be, but they will get mad. And I told Shayla, I'm like, don't talk about it. Say something, because this is your income you're talking about, right? But at the end of the day, it ain't always about because they just don't like you because of whatever. It could be they made a mistake, right? But with that being said, it could be because they don't like you. Okay, it could be. So you want to stay good. I don't care if you gotta fake it till you make it, baby. Be nice to that receptionist, because she will take care of you. And maybe she's the one that decides what if 3-4 clients walk in all at the same time, and one of them wants a eyebrow wax or whatever, something simple, and the other one wants $300 worth of services. Well, Hannah's going to give the person that she likes the most, the one that makes her the most money, because I know she does that, because she's a woman, and women are hateful, horrible bitches. I'm just joking. But you know what I'm saying. It happens, right? You're like, oh no, she was nasty to me this morning. She didn't even say good morning. You getting all the pedicures today. So, receptionist is a very important person. Be nice to her. All right? Oh, did I go backwards? I did. Who has telephones? Y'all got telephones? Y'all got a telephone. That's a big salon. I'm sure people call. Yes. They do call. But in most cases they do online booking these days. But if you do have a telephone on them, don't pick up the phone. Hey, what you got to say, Hannah?
What's up?
I would say, thank you for calling Paris and Lauren Evans. Here, speaker, how can I help you?
See, very sweet and nice. And you know it's Hannah when she picks up the phone, because she's sweet and nice. Right? So there's a certain way you got to pick up the phone. So phone etiquette, I know y'all ain't got none, because y'all used to texting people and you don't even know how to talk to people on the phone anymore. But there is a such thing as phone etiquette. Okay? And then sometimes people do book appointments, don't they, by calling over phone? They'll call and book an appointment. So you want to have a good receptionist that has good communication skills, that's not going to be hanging up on people because they got an attitude, because that's costing you money. All right? Social media. You all have it. You all are on it. You need to use it. Okay? Use it, and separate your social media accounts. Okay? Again, like I said earlier, you can have your personal one where you got your kids and your dog and your husband and your trip to Disney and all of that, and then have your business one. Now, again, your clients, they like to see sometimes the real you. You know what I mean? But please don't have me scrolling past your vacation pictures to get to your work. Okay? posting one here and then 50 nail pictures. And then one here and then, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to do that. Because I do personally feel like a lot of times people get to know you from your social media, and they may not want to even come sit in your chair if they don't know I want to at least know what you look like. I might be sitting in the wrong person's seat. I had that happen to me one time. There's a nail tech in this city named Mary Nguyen, and then she's Vietnamese, so you know it's spelled Nguyen. I know her actually, and that's what's so funny. And she came to get her nails done by me one time, and she was like, "Girl, people confuse me for you all the time." And I was like, "How?" She was like, "I don't know. They don't read that last. They think Negron, Nuygun or something." And a lot of times people, they get to her appointment and they're like, "You're not Mary Negron." And she's like, "No, I'm not." Like, but she don't have no video pictures of herself. I guess she didn't have no pictures of herself on her website. And you know, people don't read. A lot of times people know my name, but they don't know how to spell it, you know, so I kind of want to know who I'm sitting in front of just in case, you know, whatever. It's a thing. All right. Advertising is very important outside of just social media. I told this to them yesterday. I'm going to tell it to y'all today. I literally got about 20 students off of one billboard. You can get a billboard. There is a billboard website called blipbillboards.com. Do it in your city if you're coming from far away, or if you can literally pay $10 for those electronic ones that flip and change. Now here's the thing, you're paying for impressions. Everybody know what impressions are?
It's like clicks.
How many not even clicks, how many times people will see you, okay, or how many people will see you. Like you if you look at your analytics, if you have a business account on any of these social media websites, okay, like TikTok for instance, sometimes people are just scrolling. They didn't click on nothing on your page, but they saw you, and that's called an impression. Okay, so you're driving down the road and you see these billboards, they're flipping and flipping and flipping, and sometimes you pay attention to it, but there's that one time you're like, "Oh man, I didn't even know there was a nail school in Augusta." Because you saw it for 2.5 seconds. And when it's on the main highway or going on I-20 and you're going fat. Now, one thing about it, when you design these billboards, they tell you don't put a bunch of words up there because we don't want people to be driving and reading, right? So they tell you maximum amount of words, like you got. So mine was literally Mary Negron School of Nails, some hands, and now enrolling. It was my logo, now enrolling. 20 students off of that. I paid $50 for, and you can choose where you want them to be done. Like if you want the one on, because there's a lot of these now. There's like, when I did it, it was like 6 of them in Augusta. One on Washington Road, they had one in Aiken, they had one out on Deansbridge Road, they had another that they own. Not all of them own the same ones. So I went on there and I made my little ad. I did it on Canva. Made the ad, go on there, find out how big it needs to, because each one of those billboards are different sizes. Some are this way and some are this big. And I made one for each one of those sizes, and I did a $50 campaign to run for 2 weeks, got 20 students off of it. You can afford to do it, okay? Make you a nails by whoever. Now enrolling, just make sure, or booking, and put a little scanner code or something up there, I don't know, and do it. You will get clients, okay? And it'll tell you you have the possibility at this particular, it's very detailed, at this particular billboard, you can have the maximum of, 500 impressions per hour. Think about how many people go down I-20 every day. I see that damn Dunkin' Donuts one every morning because I'm like, damn, I do need some coffee. Let me, So you can afford it. And this is how media is, how advertising is done nowadays. It's not everybody has TikTok. Not everybody has Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Some of y'all don't have none of this stuff, okay? I hate Facebook. Why? Because my mama's on there. I can't say what I want to say and do what I want to do because she'd be praying for me all day. So I just don't do it. I don't even get on there. I just look at other people's business.
I got a QR code.
Anytime I'm bored, I just scroll because I know I'm about to see my cousin doing something stupid. But do I post? No. Okay, Facebook is for families and friends and local, right? Or if you want a DIY, group that you want to be in or whatever. I don't do it. But advertising is not dead. You guys have to do it. You got to do it, okay? Come up with a budget. There's newspapers. I don't do newspapers no more. Newspapers, do they even have them anymore? People still get newspapers? I don't even know where. I haven't seen one in years.
You can buy ads on Instagram.
And you can buy ads and put them on the digital. A lot of people do digital versions of the newspaper. If you want to read the Augusta Chronicle, you can pay for that now, okay? And then also, I never recommend doing Groupons, y'all. Y'all remember Groupon where you could buy a coupon? It was like an app you could put a coupon. Because what happens is, you put a Groupon for 25% off, and then the people they show up in droves. Like, don't never discount your services, y'all. Don't discount your services. If anything, give them something free, but don't discount your services. You know why? Because you get the discount people. The people who will only come when you're giving a discount. I used to do that. I would have like a birthday discount where you would get like $50 off your service or something like that, and I would only see them heifers on their birthday.
I used to do that with piercings. Like, I used to have...
You want clients all year round.
Right.
I don't want to see you on your birthday. I want to see you on my birthday. Come spend money with me on my birthday, not me giving you a discount on your birthday. Okay? Don't discount your services. Just trust me. It will burn you out. All right? And then collect people's emails. When you are doing your booking sites, you're always going to get their email anyway, right? Keep those emails. Usually you can export their email addresses and put them in something. There's a website called MailChimp, free. You can create campaigns. You can say, hey, my salon is grand opening is this weekend. For all the people who maybe you've seen before or people in your family, send them out an email. You get email campaigns all day, every day, don't you? You get a Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath and Body Works, email every day. Everywhere you shop and they ask you for your email address, you get an email sometimes 2-3 times. I be unsubscribing like crazy. And then I resubscribe when I need that coupon, right? But at the end of the day, these people are your customers and you can always reach them. Don't count on TikTok. Don't y'all remember when TikTok shut down for 24 hours and people were losing their minds? Oh my God. How am I going to feed my family? You counting on TikTok to feed your family? For real? You better not. You better get them people's email address so you can say, hey, I know TikTok is shut down, but we moving on over to Facebook. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Get people's emails and stuff like that. Also, websites are not dead either. People are now starting to go back to websites and taking time to build their websites. And you can build a website for free. Okay? Literally for free. And a decent one, too, for free. Okay?
You could go on GoDaddy and buy the rights to which is like $5.
Literally a year. Per year.
Per year.
So you can have your own domain name. Somebody got your domain name, you said, right? I'll have to find you another one on 2.0.
I told her to do Tiger Print, but spell it Ty.
It said we aren't in the same industry, so I have to do it.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It ain't about that. It's about customer confusion. You don't want your customers going over there because they don't care that you're in the same. They want to type in yeah, they want to do all of that and then they end up in the wrong place. Okay, so when we pick our next name, we're gonna check it right ahead of time, right? All right, so other things that are not dead: direct mail, classified advertising, giveaways, and promotional giveaways are good. I don't discount nothing, but I'll give it to you for free. Right? I'll say, I'm not going to give you a 25% discount on your service, but I'll give you free gel polish because that gel polish got paid for a long time ago. Right?
What about those punch cards?
Punch cards are good too. You can do punch cards. Punch cards you can do too, but just make sure that it's for something that is not costing you nothing when you give them something free. right? Don't say a free nail set. I ain't got time to be sitting here doing nothing for free. We don't do free stuff. Like an add-on, something that is cheap and don't cost you nothing. You know, like, or a design, free design or something. So free, hell, my French designs could cost $15 extra. Okay, it's gonna cost you to get a French. That takes time. So with that being said, I'm not giving you nothing that costs me money. Okay, again, free gel polish, free soda, you know, something like that. I just don't do free. But promo items usually, for instance, when I went to Masters this year, I went with one of my clients. She bought a bunch of stuff from the like little keychains and the little cheap stuff. It was like $5, the cooler, koozies and stuff like that. And the hats and stuff. Now she's a millionaire, so don't get it twisted. She had the money to do that. I wouldn't have gave away a damn thing from the Masters. But because she spent a lot of money. But she put together a little gift basket that she was going to raffle off. But if you think about it, when you do a raffle, people are paying for those tickets. So to win whatever it is that you're going to give away. So you do a raffle, you're getting money to pay for whatever's in that basket. So then you give away to whoever wins the raffle. So it's still not nothing free. So you see what I'm saying? It's a promotional item that you raffle off, but it didn't cost you nothing because people paid to win that particular thing. All right. Nobody watches TV anymore. Okay. But you do see ads all over the place, don't you? Like YouTube, if you got YouTube Premium, you get it. You don't have ads, but I'm starting to get annoyed with these people on YouTube now. Now the content creators are doing ads inside their videos.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute.
It's like 20% of the dang video.
They're telling you about some law. I'm like, when did you become a commercial? Whatever.
And guys, I just want to take a second to let you know about these headphones.
And I'm like,
If
no,
you
click
might
past
well
it.
get
Click.
20%
I'm like, I might as well go back to regular YouTube if I got to sit here and click past the ad, and you are the ad. But then you'd have to look at those ads and listen to their ad. Anywho, but you can. I'm sure that you can do ads on. You can do them on YouTube. I do one on YouTube. You can do ads on TikTok. You can do ads on Facebook. All of that stuff you can do. Okay, and they're not expensive. And those are even better because you can do what's called target audiences. I can say I only want my ad to be shown to women who identify as women of color that are the age of 17, that look at a lot of nail videos. Like, you can literally pick who you want to see your stuff. And that's even better to me than paying a whole lot of money for a newspaper ad that nobody even gets the newspaper. Okay. Let's see. Let's move past that because I think we're done. Hold on. Yep, so that's the end of this particular chapter. But so now I want to show you, because this is part of your project that you have to do. Okay?
So our project is the business plan and the form.
I'm about to tell you the rest of it. She is right ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I ain't mad at you.
I'm excited.
I know. There we go. That's it. Okay, so let me make this smaller. Okay, so you're going to have a spreadsheet. Now, it's going to look something like this, and I'm going to go to... Now, does everybody know what a spreadsheet is? Okay, you don't? Okay, so let me tell you. A spreadsheet is... This is a spreadsheet. This is a sheet that is spread... No, I'm just kidding. This is a sheet where you can tally up and add up things, right? Don't we add up your services and stuff, right? So this is a paper version of a spreadsheet, but in this case, this is a digital version of a spreadsheet. I'm going to show you how to use this so that you will be able to do this project very easily and not call me and say, oh my God, I don't know how to make a spreadsheet. I already have one for you, made one for you. Okay. So what this is an expense report. Okay. This spreadsheet is going to have all, you see everything that's in the green? Don't touch that. Do not click in that green box. If you touch the green box, you're going to get something that looks like this. And then you're going to go, oh my God, what do I do? What do I click? Oh my God. You're going to click the X and you're going to get out of there and you're going to say, oh, Ms. Mary told me not to click the green. She said stay in the white. Okay. So let me zoom in. Can y'all see? Y'all can see that. I don't need to zoom in. Okay, so this is an expense report, okay? You're going to input numbers, and then the numbers are going to be magically calculated, and they're going to spit out on that green side, okay? And that's going to tell you how much money you spend annually on certain things, okay? And then once you add all those things up, which you don't even have to do it, the expense report is going to do it for you, and it's going to tell you, can I afford to have a $10,000 building, or should I do maybe a $400 a month building? Okay. Can I afford an employee? Can I afford a new car? Okay. So I would highly recommend that you keep this report for not only, and make a copy of it so you can do your personal expenses on it. It's going to take, can I afford another kid? Can I afford, to have a side chick or whatever? Nope, can't do it. Can't afford it. But it says you cannot afford. Okay? So let me explain how this works. I want you to pay attention. Miss, I'm texting under my desk because Miss Mary think Miss Mary can't see it.
It's just an Excel spreadsheet.
This is an Excel spreadsheet. If you use Mac computers, it would be numbers. Okay, it's gonna pop up. Which one? Any of y'all using an Android computer? What are they called? Windows.
Yeah.
You using Windows or you using Mac?
No, even on the Chromebook, it's still Excel.
You still can? Okay. So, because this is actually on numbers because I use Mac computers, but you can use whatever you want. It should convert. It should convert it, right? So, this is because I want you to notice here, there are two windows here. Let me pull this down a little bit. You see this right here? These are pages, okay? Because I had to take this course in college. I don't know about y'all, how to use Excel. She fresh. She don't
He's
mind.
straight out of school. Right?
So you probably never had to make a spreadsheet. When I went to college, they actually taught you how to do life skill stuff. This is a life skill stuff right here. Okay, so wages is on one page, and I don't want you to look at that yet, okay? Not yet. This is your overhead page. So this is going to be all your expenses. Everything that you are going to spend. What we're going to do is go through it line by line, okay? And we're going to say, how much do I spend on this versus this versus this, okay? So right here in this box, we've got our utilities, okay? How much do you spend every month on rent? Now, I did this yesterday thinking about, what you guys might spend. We're just gonna talk about like school terms, so it'll make more sense, okay? So you guys can understand how expensive it is to run a school, even in this little, humble building, okay? So monthly, the rent, $2,000 for rent. That equals out to, you see how that number changed? Went from $2,000. If I put, and then it says $24,000 a year. If I change this and say $1,000, what is it going to say? What's it going to say, math people? No. If I change it to 1,000, I haven't clicked it yet. What is it going to say? $1,000 a month times 12. $12,000. See how it changed? Click, it changed, right? So whatever number you put in the white, it's going to change in the green. Got that? Okay, so I'm going to put that back to $2,000. Okay? How much do you spend on your water bill every month? Well, if you're going to be doing a suite situation, you should be $0, right? But in my case, it's $200 a month. Because y'all use a lot of water. Y'all be flushing. Okay. Electricity. How much is an electricity bill? In a suite situation, should be $0, right? In this situation, $300 a month. Okay. Phone. My phone is attached to the internet, and so we're going to lump this all together because I could say other and put internet and then phone separate, but the whole bill all together, we'll just, because you can change this, we can say internet/phone. Right? What is that? We got the best internet Augusta can give, and it's still shitty. $250 a month. Okay? And you see them numbers per year, how this is coming out, right? All right, so other, you can choose whatever other expenses you can think of. For instance, I'm going to put here, we have a gas bill, scanner, that's separate from that's the gas. That's $70 a month. And that we'll just say because it may fluctuate, right? In the wintertime it's higher, in the summertime it's lower. The only thing we use gas for here is for the hot water. Okay? So if it's changes and you're like, okay, well it's $3,000 a year, then you would divide up whatever that is times per month, okay? Because I need this to make sense so y'all can understand. So monthly, the utilities alone are $2,800.20, and then annually $33,000 on this building alone just to open the doors. Okay? Now, marketing expenses. How much do we spend on marketing? All right, and we can break this up and do each individual one, but we'll just say on social media, I spend about $100 a month, right, with between Facebook ads, TikTok ads, and it's more than that, but I'm just going to make nice round numbers. Print. What is your print? That's going to be your business cards. That's going to be flyers that you may. I got to print out some flyers because at the show, I'm going to be doing a private class that's going to be in my hotel room at the show. Okay? And that people can come to. I'm going to be handing out flyers for that. I ain't going to hand out that many because I don't need that many to come. First come, first serve. But flyers for that will cost, right? You may only do that one time a year, but let's just say for the whole year, break it up into monthly because you're not going to buy business cards every month. You're not going to buy flyers every month. So we'll just say if we broke that up, it maybe would be like $25 a month with every time if I break it up for the year. Radio, I don't do radio. I don't even listen to the radio. I don't play the radio neither. You got that one. Television. I don't do television ads. Okay. Other advertisement you may do. Let's just say I had to get you see those things that are in the window? Those things, they supposed to be in the grass, but we ain't got none yet because it ain't grew yet. And they're doing all that construction, but those payment plans available, flexible schedules, those we had printed so that we could stick them down in the grass so people when they drive by they can see it, right? So that might be something that you would count as print, and I've had to replace those several times. Wind blew them down the street, that kind of stuff. All right, so whatever you spend on marketing, okay, you're gonna put there. And again, this is an assignment that is, pretend. So, but think about it, what you might spend. Now, owner salary, okay? You'll put what you spend per year. I told y'all that I only paid myself $20,000 last year. Now, did I live well off of, business expenses? Yes. But what I paid myself, barely enough to even consider myself minimum wage. And I'm fine with that. Because I don't need a lot. I ain't got no kids or nothing like that, Plus, like I said, my car payment is tax deductible. Okay? Tax deductible. Tax deductible. If I'm wearing this uniform, baby, it's tax deductible. I'm on lunch. I was at her restaurant the other day. That's why she asked me that. Okay. So I'm going to put here that $20,000. That's what I paid the owner, which is me, $20,000 a year. Okay. So that means I only pay myself $1,600 a month. Sheesh. And that is what I would have to pay my home expenses and all that stuff with, right? But you remember, I have an office in my house which is also tax deductible to a certain amount of square footage. And because my office needs internet, the internet is also tax deductible in my house. So I really only have rent to pay. Mortgage to pay. That's it. Everything at lights, that's it. Phone, all of that stuff is tax deductible because I do business in my house. Okay.
Now, when you do those things, do you also put that under your
That's
LLC
called
name?
itemized deductions.
Okay.
That's get you a tax person. If you need one, go to Cheryl Cobb. She's 2 blocks down the street. She's been my tax lady since I was in high school. Cobb's Tax and Financial Services. She does my taxes every year. I don't even have to, all I do is just print off my bank statements and hand them to her. And she been taking good care of me. Like I told you, I paid $700 this year for zero for state. Zero.
You said Cobb's tax?
Cobb's Tax and Financial Services. It's a good thing because Ms. Mary didn't pay taxes for 7 years, and I'm paying that off. Okay, don't get in that. Don't start working for yourself. Till I ain't got to pay no taxes. Yes, you do. 7 years I didn't pay taxes. Now I pay $400 a month for back taxes. Don't fall into that trap. Okay.
But when you pay all of those expenses, of like how you were saying that like your internet and everything is deductible. Bless you. Do you put that under your?
Bless you.
Bless you. Do you put like your internet bill under your LLC name, or do you still put
No,
it under your?
you can put that in your personal name.
Oh,
Put it in your personal name because only a certain percentage of it is deductible.
Okay.
It's not 100% of it, but a percentage. I think it's like 30 or 40% of it is tax. Because you can only, I think you can only deduct 400 square feet of your house. And so 400 square feet of 1,000 square foot home, let's just say it's $1,000 a month. That's only deductible part of it is $400 a month. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Not the entire mortgage, right? So your tax person will do all of that. They'll ask you questions like that, like how big is your apartment?
Usually I do it to myself. I'm about to go to her.
Girl, you better get somebody to do your taxes for you. The goal is to pay zero
I
taxes.
didn't have to pay last year. I actually got money back last year.
And it just depends on, because you may also have another job and there's money coming in there, and all of that stuff matters, right? So get you a tax person. They're gonna do the best they can because then you pay them good. I pay her good, okay? But I also, business taxes cost more than personal taxes too. Keep that in mind. All right. So she does both for me. And whatever I pay her every year is deductible on the next year's taxes. What you pay for taxes for someone to do it for you, you can't deduct for you doing it for yourself.
Right.
Might as well, right? If you can't deduct it, don't buy it. I'm gonna put that shit on a t-shirt. All right. Contingency is how much money do you save every year for your old shit fund, right? What if something happens? COVID comes back. We can't work. What do I need? I need 6 months of expenses saved, right? So we've already determined that my monthly expenses are $2,820, a month. So we're just gonna make that a nice round number times 6. What's 6 times 2? That's $12,000. I need to have $12,000 saved up. So we're gonna put, that means that I'm putting, that's 120.
That's a lot of damn
Not too many zeros, Mary. That's putting $1,000 a month. And then once you get to that 12,000, you ain't gotta add no more, right? You just leave it there at 12,000. If you're smart, you'll put the rest of it in a savings account. But this is totally separate. This is a fund that you will have separate from your savings account. Rainy day fund, okay? Rainy day. All right. Now, if you have any loans, which I try not to take out no loans, I don't owe no money, but if you had any loans, you would put that in there every month. Okay, I don't do loans. I don't like loans. Put that there. These are your additional expenses. If you had, let's just say you had someone like a landscaper come. Miss Mary was out there cutting grass this morning. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Yesterday too, I didn't finish it, but I had little sticker burrs all over my pants. Yeah, we don't have that much grass, so I was like, I'll do it. But whatever you're paying extra expenses, you would put there, okay? So additional expenses, $2,600 a month, $32,000 a year, right there. Now, who is your merchant? Who is your merchant? Y'all never heard of merchant services or whatever? That is whoever does your credit card services. So for instance, it may be PayPal, it may be Square, it may be Visa, MasterCard, Discover, all of those people, they charge a fee, okay? So for instance, I pass that fee along to you guys, so I don't have to pay it, so mine is 0. But it would be 3.3% of every fee that I take with a credit card, okay? So you would add that up and put that there. Some of them have upfront fees. That's like $100 a month plus a 1% fee. Like they give you a discount because you bought their machine. Like you'll see in some of these places, they have a whole machine, right? Ours is just through Square. So ours is just a Square register thing like that. So mine is actually 0 because I passed that along to you guys. Software. What would software be?
Like, not Microsoft, but like, I don't know if people pay for Microsoft anymore.
I mean, a lot of times it comes free on your computer.
Yeah.
But like your booking site.
Booking,
What if you got like Acuity, Booksy, what are these other ones?
yeah.
All of those different booking
Wait.
sites. You pay like $29 a month for that. You know, for me, it's you guys is online. I pay $2.99 a month just for y'all to be online, taking your test 26 times in a row to try to pass it. That's why I moved over to Classroom, because we're not about to keep paying for y'all to keep failing me like that. Okay, so we moving over to something free, right? But it was $2.99 a month for me, plus the Milady textbooks, all that software whenever it was online. That right there costs money. So you got to add that in. So in my case, we'll just say for the booking site, because I do have a booking site for you guys can be booked. Okay, it's $29. Actually, it's $39 because I got enough. I got mine set for where I can have up to 30 employees. Students, right? $39 a month. Insurance, I told y'all mine was about $650 a year, so I just put it here and then it broke it up into $54 a month. Okay, and then licensing. How much do you pay for licensing? You guys pay biannually. You will have to renew your license every 2 years. It's going to cost you, when you get your nail tech license, $45. Plus, you have to do CEUs. Do y'all know what CEUs are? Continuing education. Every 2 years, you guys are going to have to go online and find you a place that's doing online CEUs. Or if you go to the show, guess what?
That counts.
They give them to you for free at the show if you take a class that offers CEUs. Keep the certificates because you have to upload them in case that you get audited, and that's the same thing. The state board don't require you to upload them, right? They just say make you do an attestation saying, did you do your CEUs? And you're going to say yes. And if you lied and they come back and say, can you show us your copies of your CEUs? And you're like, I lied, you know, kind of like I do when I was in nail school. I'm gonna get y'all. I ain't gonna call no names, but I'm gonna just leave it at that. Then guess what? They're gonna take your license from you for lying. So I'm just trying to teach y'all not to lie now, so you don't lie later and get in trouble. So anyhow, $45 every 2 years, plus I think I paid $15 for my CEUs and I did them all online. It took me 15 minutes. Okay, it's a HIV. It's an HIV one little thing you gotta read. You just read. It's not even a test.
Yeah,
you just gotta read it.
It's like a first aid and
it's something like that. It's simple. HIV update thing, and then something. You just read it, and then you click. I read this, and I click that I read it. Even if you didn't read it, click you read it. Okay, so that you can get that CEU. It's stuff you learned in school anyway, right? It's not nothing new. Now you can do it. Now some licenses require you to do additional CEUs. Like for instance, in Florida, you got to do 10, and they can't be online. They got to be in person. Not Florida, South Carolina. They got to be in person. So you have to seek out a class that's doing CEUs. Guess where you can get them from? The shows for free. Okay. Somebody bring you food. So girl. So anyhow, so I put on here $45. But that would be what you guys would pay. I have to pay $300 for the school every 2 years. And then I have to pay $75 for my instructor, which is every 2 years. And then I have to pay $45 for my nail tech license, because in Georgia, in order to have an instructor, you have to keep all your license up to date. So what's that? $375 and $45. So we'll just say a good $425. We'll just say per 2 years. So what's that? We'll just say $200 a year if we broke it up into a year. $200 for licensing. Accounting, how much do I pay for accounting? Well, I just told y'all, my tax lady, right? I have to pay her every year. She does my personal taxes and my business taxes, but we're gonna stick to what she pays for this business. What I pay her $700 to do my business taxes, $200 to do my personal taxes, and she saves me $10,000 a year. Don't even look at me like that. You better go over there and see Miss Cheryl. You better go see Miss Cheryl. Okay, Miss Cheryl is the biznai. Okay, so she gonna make sure that you don't have to pay her and not the government. Okay, with that being said, pay her, don't pay them. Okay, so what I say, 700. So we'll just say $1,000. Not monthly. That's we'll just say $100 a month. Okay, because it's about that by the time I pay her. Okay, now you see where it says employees and it's in the green, because we don't, remember what I told you, we don't touch the green, remember? So remember on the other page that I flipped over from, there's another box over there. We'll get to that in a second, okay? Don't touch that. You can't, well you can, and it's gonna give you that, and you're gonna go, oh my God, click the red, okay? Don't click that. All right, tool replacement, how much do you spend on tools every month? Hopefully not every month. Hopefully you're going to buy a bunch of tools at the show. You're going to go to that place where they sell all those tools really, really cheap, and you're going to buy 5 sets of each one of them, right? Because you need to have enough to see all your clients all day, unless you want to be cleaning in between. Okay, so we'll just break it up to $600 a year, and we're talking cuticle nippers, cuticle pushers, the metal stuff, the stuff that you want to have really nice stainless steel stuff, and not just tools like that, but also your e-file, electric files. Maybe you bought an e-file and you spread that out throughout the entire year. So I just say with tools we spend about $600 a year, and it would be more than just that. It would be your buffers, your stuff you throw away, right? So that's way cheap for me. I spend that a month on y'all, okay, on just the stuff that y'all throw away and stuff like that. So let's change this to we said monthly. We'll just do a number like $500 a month. Okay. Office supplies, that's your printer supplies, paper, ink. If you've got a register, if anything, pens, paper, all of that stuff. I put $50. I'm just say $25 a month. Okay, because that's a little high. I don't spend that much. I try to do everything digitally. All right. Supplies in general, for instance, like your cleaning supplies, stuff that you buy from Sam's, paper towels, things like that. All of that might be under supplies here. So I'm going to put, we'll just say $100 a month. And that's even a low number because I spend that at Sam's every time I go just on toilet paper. Okay, teaching materials. Teaching materials for me, that's going to be, the computer. I might do that every couple of years, buy a new computer, buy a new screen, but I'm just going to leave that at $500 a year. Okay. And then magazines, we get a magazines of salon magazines and stuff like that for you guys. You guys never look at them, but the magazines and those subscriptions can sometimes they just send them to you. Sometimes you got to pay for them. I don't pay for any right now, so we're gonna leave that right there. So that's $666. Oh, I don't like it. 67 cents a month. That's a lot of sixes. Jeez. All right, so it says here Young Nails kit, which we don't use a Young Nails kit, but that was I think at the time when I first put this together, I was gonna do their kit. So we'll just leave that and say that every kit, because when you guys buy like your state board kit, that kit is $150. So we'll just leave that. I gotta pay for that. The cost is $150, the price is $275, right? And then your textbooks, which you guys pay for, your textbooks are online, so we'll just leave that right there. So everything was calculated over here in that green box. This green box shows you all of the details of everything that was calculated. Okay? Now, before I get to this bottom one, because this is the numbers that count, let's go to the wages, because you'll want to have this, look at this part if you have employees. Okay, I'm already paying myself $20,000 a year, right? I'm the owner. So full-time hours, we'll say full-time hours is why does it say 15? It should be 40 hours a week, right? Part-time hours, we'll say is 20 hours a week. This is the federal tax rate. State taxes is, I think, is 3%. Okay, now This part, remember, don't touch the green. How much do you pay? Everybody that works for you is going to have a different pay scale, right? You may pay your receptionist, $20 an hour. You may pay your janitor $8.75 an hour. You may pay your instructor that works for you on Fridays and Saturdays $15 an hour, or excuse me, $18 an hour, because she's working on the worst days, right? The days nobody wants to work. And then you got a weekday instructor that comes on Mondays and Tuesdays, and she's $15 an hour, right? Let's just say. In my case, I have one instructor, and we'll just make up a number and say that she's paid $18 an hour, okay? And she's part-time, meaning she only, and we're going to say for real, because she only works 10 hours a week. Okay, we'll change part-time to 10 hours a week. Let's say she makes $18 an hour. She's part-time, so I'm going to take this off in 1 and make it 0 and move her to 1 employee at $18 an hour, and that's part-time. Okay, so now that calculates up to, I pay her $10,000 a year. Okay? That's all you're going to do. You're going to leave. These numbers don't matter because we don't have any of those employees, but it just calculated it for me based on full-time and part-time pay. If I had an employee that was full-time at $8.75, that means 40 hours a week, I would pay that person $18,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Remember what I told y'all when we had that, y'all wanted to screenshot that one? 50% of your income should go to salaries and commissions, right? So now this is filled out. We're just using Shayla as an example, right?
Could we change the base?
You can change the pay to whatever you want. If you want to pay now you're going to ask me, how do I do nail tech by the hour? Because we don't get paid by the hour, we get paid by the service, right? So think about it in terms of hourly. If you did 5 clients a day, right? And you made $100 per client, how much money did you make a day? $500, okay? So if you worked only 5 hours, that means you made how much an hour? $100 per hour. So you're going to put on here $100. That's if you have an employee, okay? And they only work 5. So you would say full-time hour. You would change these hours too. You would say 5 hours is full-time if you only work 5 hours a day times 5. And then what's 5 times 5? 25. So full-time hours would be 25 hours, right? Part-time hours, say you only work on Fridays and Saturdays, right? Or you only work Monday through Friday, right? So what would be, if you only work 5 hours a week that's 5 times 5. That's for you, that's full time. How many? But what if you worked 8 hours a day? That's 40 hours a week, right? So if you're a part-time employee, you only work on Fridays and Saturdays, 5 hours, that's 10 hours a week. Then you would change that. You got to change it. It's going to mess your numbers up, okay? So in this case, we just put full-time because Shayla's part-time, 10 hours a week, right? So I got my employee in there. So now when I go over here to overhead, if I look over here and I look at how much I'm paying my employee, where did it go? There it is, employee. You see it changed the number? It said $800 a month and $10,000 a year. It changed it for me over on that other sheet. If you had 5 employees, it would change that number times 5, right? So it's calculating everything for you, okay? So now let's go over here because now everything's calculated, right? These are all my numbers. I know that I spend this amount of money on utilities, operating, marketing, products, and all my additional stuff, right? Now, it's telling me, because I'm going to look right here. You see where it says annual terms, students per term, and then this right here tells me this is where I'm going to play with the numbers, right? I want to see how much money this school can make because it's taking the expenses out. Okay, so if you want to see how much money you can make, you're going to have to play with these numbers to get it to where you want it and make that your goal. So how many terms are there in a year? That's going to depend on you. So in this case, like for instance, when you go to college, what do they have, like quarters and semesters, right? Well, here we're going to say months. So how many months are there in a year? 12. So we'll just assume that Miss Mary works 12 months a year, okay? That we're open 12, and we're open 12 months a year. We don't close. We don't have a summer break or whatever. How many students, see how that changed? See how the numbers flipped? It went from when I did from 6, because it's going to say that we got to make a certain amount of money every month in order to make this amount of money, okay? So these numbers will change every time you change them. Now, how many students do I enroll every month? Well, we'll just make a nice round number of 5 a month. Now, we're going to change this tuition, because you guys know what the tuition is. What is it?
Pay for your $6,000.
$6,000. That's $60,000. Okay, $6,000. So, I'm telling you my business right here. $6,000 per student at 5, and this fluctuates, right?
Right.
5 students per month, 12 months at $6,000 per student. It's going to be a profit per student of $5,000. Now this is not right because I didn't put the books and all that stuff, because technically the tuition, this should be $1,500, right? Dollars for that. All right, so that's going to change it, right? Because you guys pay for, I got to pay for the books, I got to pay for all the online access to all that stuff, right? So with that being said, the cost per student, $3,000 with all the expenses. That's how much it costs to run per student. My profit that the school made after all of the bills are paid, after Shayla's paid, after I'm paid, after all of the supplies are paid for, is $172,000 a year.
Would you put yourself on the employee one?
No, I'm the owner. I get a salary. Remember, I just
Okay.
paid myself $20,000. Now I could do that if I was paying myself an hourly pay, right? But I would take the owner salary out. Okay?
Okay.
So if you want to pay yourself a salary, and you just say, I want to pay myself $5,000 a month.
Right.
0 if you're a sweet situation. $5,000 a month. I want to make that. That's how much I want to pay myself. But you got to make sure, put all them bills in there. Delete the employees because you don't have none. Okay. So let's do that real quick. Let's assume that you've got a salon that's this big, right? And you got all these bills. And it could be that much, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's just say no employees. So this is going to zero this out. That is not even an issue. We don't have no expenses with employees. It's just me.
So would you have to change the hourly wages and stuff?
No, because there ain't no employees.
Okay.
You would change that if you had employees to whatever part-time and full-time is, okay? Now, if I wanted to, let's do it the way you were wanting to do it, okay? Let's just say we're going to take the annual salary out and say 0. There's no, you're the owner, but now you're an LLC, so you're an employee of yourself, of your business, okay? So let's take the owner salary out. Let's put over here that you want to make, you only want to work 2 days a week, or do you want to work 2 days? You work 5. So we'll just use you as an example. You work 5 days a week. How many hours a day do you work?
2.5.
No, baby, we ain't gonna survive off of that. We got to work more than that. That's one client. Let's just say you're a normal person that works 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. That's 40 hours, okay? Full-time hours, right? So it says here, if you're a full-time employee, that you're going to make, now these are your taxes. That's what you got to take out in taxes. Y'all see that? That's what you take. If you're making $8 an hour, that's $8.75 an hour. That's only $18,000 a year. Okay, so we're gonna make this. Let's say you make $100 per client. Okay, $100 per client. $100 per client, and you work 8 hours a day. That's $800 a day, right? That means you're making $100 per hour. Okay, so $100 per hour, your hourly rate. We're gonna change this one here to hourly wage of $100 per hour. Okay. That means you make $208,000. Is that unattainable?
No.
Now look at them taxes though, baby. Hey. You see that number right there? You want that to be 0. And how are you going to do that? By spending more money and expenses on that other page. You're going to buy you a car in the business name and you're going to drive it. And you're going to put that expense, for instance, you're going to say, we're going to put in this other section right here, a Tesla. That's $1,000 a month with insurance and, charging. And we're going to put that over here and we're going to have our tax lady deduct that off our taxes every year. Okay? And it's going to bring that number down. Now, not in this case, she would do it on your taxes, but what I'm saying is it's an expense. Okay? So, we got over there, we changed it. So, your employee pay, where should that be over here? Where have we put that at? Employer.
Up a little bit.
Right here. It didn't change. Hold on. Oh, we didn't say we had one. So we got one employee who's full-time. Boom. $230,000 a year, right? So then when we go over here, boom, it's going to be there. That means you got to make $20,000 a month to get $230,000 a year. $20,000 a month broken down into a week is what? Weekly a month, right? 20,000. That's $5,000 a week you got to make in order to get that. Now, with that being said, let's play with these numbers. So now, do you take off a month every year? Are you going to take a month-long vacation? Probably not. But if you wanted to, you would change this to what? 11, right? But we're going to say we work year-round. We don't take no vacations yet. We're still new and we got bills to pay, apparently. Right? Apparently. How many, we're not going to say students, how many clients do you see per month? Because remember, this is terms or months in our case, annual terms, 12. How many students do you see per month?
And we were working, you said 8
Let's
hours
just
a
say
day.
you're doing 8 clients a day at $100 per client. So 8 times 5 is what? 4. You're seeing 40 clients a week. And you're seeing 40 times 4.
4 times 4, that's 8.
That's a lot, right? They only come in once a month, though. And you're doing pedicure. We're going to say services, right? Because maybe they're getting a pedicure and you know what I'm saying? But 40 clients a week times 4. What is that? 4 times 4 is what? That's 160 clients, 100 per month. Okay? Woo! Now, we're going to change this tuition. We're not going to say it's tuition. We're going to say how much that each client do you get from each client. We said $100, right?
Right. And that would be like the bare minimum, right?
Bare minimum. We're just going to say bare minimum. Do you see how much money that you are going to lose because of how much you're spending? You're in the negative here. That means we can't afford a $2,000 a month rent. We can't afford $24,000 a month in a year in rent because we're not charging enough. Either we're not charging enough per client, okay, or our expenses are way too high. You can't afford to pay yourself $100 per client. You got to up that. You got to charge if you want to keep all these expenses. So if we look on here and we say, okay, well, we got to change some things. We're going to have to remove, let me take this off because when you're a nail tech, you don't need this. Sorry. That's probably why that number's so weird. Okay. We're $96,000 in the hole. You spending too much money on e-files and glitter. You need to change that. Well, I'm going to mess with these numbers a little bit. Or I'm going to have to change how much I'm charging per client. Right? Or work more hours or something like that, right? In order to afford, maybe we don't pay $2,000 a month. Let's say that we're like, okay, I don't need this big ass salon. It's just me working. I'm the only one working. How much are you paying a week? $150 a week. That's $600. We're gonna cut this back a lot. We're gonna say $600 a month. That's $150 a week. Look at, so now we're down. We're still in the negative here. You're not paying nothing in water, right? Are we? Because we're doing 0.
Right.
Electricity,
0.
0. Internet and phone.
0. Oh wait.
You don't need no internet at the salon suite, do you? But maybe you want a phone. Let's see how much you pay for one cell phone. Let's say one cell phone.
Like
$50. Let's just say $50. We're gonna say 0 here. Internet and phone, $50. Scanner, 0. See how we cut back all that? We cut that all back, right? We still spending a whole lot of money over here. Maybe you don't put $12,000 in contingency because you don't need that much because you're in a suite, first of all. So we only spending $600 a month. Let's just say, okay, I can't afford $12,000 a year. Shit, I can't afford it. No savings, right, for that. We're still looking bad over here. Why? We're not charging enough. You're not charging enough. Average the per client should be more than that. It really should. Okay? Tool replacement, $6,000 a year in tools. That's school that's school right there. So let's just say you only bought an e-file and you use a bunch of throwaway stuff. Maybe you spend, instead of $6,000, maybe you only spent $500, okay, a year. Office, you ain't got no office. We do everything digital. Supplies, we don't need no cleaning supplies. They got a janitor and all of that stuff over there. All we spending is about that much. You don't need no teaching materials. You ain't no teacher, right? So we just cut back on all of that, okay? So let's see, insurance, licensing, that's gonna be cheaper. We don't need that either. We say at 45, so that's $20 a year. Accounting, maybe you do your own taxes, 0. Okay. All right. Employees, you maybe you are charging yourself paying yourself way too much, because that is a lot. Your expenses to pay yourself, right? So if you, how much would you think that you would make average a day as a nail tech? Comfortably. Let's say if our clients are only $50 per $50. Let's see. Let's do $200 per client. There we go. You see how just going from $100 per client to $200 per client, how it doubled the numbers. We was in the negative. Now our profit after paying ourselves. You got to remember, you paid yourself already. You don't want to be in the negative. You want to be somewhere at least break even. Okay? So let's see 150 per client. 40. Hold on, 100. What was that? 100. See? We'll go 150 per client. And we had $40,000 profit. So we could even go 125 per client. It's small. Look at there. Okay. So 135 per client. And we should be, we're above, we've made a profit of $12,000. Now you can save $12,000 for your contingency plan. You see what I'm saying? This is telling you that in order for you to make the money that you want to make, you've got to charge at least $135 per client. That is stupid easy to do. A manicure and a pedicure is going to be $120, is it not? Get you a little assistant, a little girl that's in nail school to do your pedicures for you and give her $10 an hour. She'd be happy as a bug in a rug. And you ain't even got to do all the work. This is easy to do.
And this is just the business expenses, not even including our own personal.
Right, because we this is business expenses.
Right.
We're talking about how much is your business going to make, okay? Because look over here, you paid yourself $208,000.
Oh yeah, we took that out already.
Baby, you made $100 an hour.
Right.
So your home bills are good. We're talking about keeping the salon open. This is what I'm trying. You want to at least break even, right? And even at $135 per client, you broke even, and your business made a net profit of $12,000, which is realistically something you can do.
Right.
It's not too far past the realm of possibility.
Right.
Okay? And you did good. You made good money. Okay? I don't know too many nail techs make $200,000 a year. That's pushing it though. Again, that's like I said, doing one client every hour. You're not doing one client every hour. Now, unless you got an assistant, somebody can help you that you paying $10. But then you need to add that $10 hour person in there. See what I'm saying? So it's doable. Listen, these nail techs that are busting out those 45-minute fill-ins and stuff like that, which they do in the whatever shops, they do that in there. They're making that. They're making that. You just heard Hannah tell you that they should make $20,000 a day. How many employees they got in there?
20 mil.
That's $1,000 per person. You didn't make 1,000. We didn't put that in there for a day. That's $1,000 a day per person. 20. That's simple math. $20,000 a day. 20 employees. That's each one of them made the salon $1,000 a day. Some did more than others, right? But basically $1,000 a day. How many hours they work? I guarantee you they in there from the time it closed open to the time it closed, and that's more than 8 hours a day.
Yeah, it's like 11 hours.
So we'll just say that they maybe didn't do one client an hour. Maybe they did one every hour and 30 minutes or something like that. Because you know how fast they work. You can do that too. You see, it's right here on paper in black and white and
that
green.
would just be the bare minimum. Right?
Bare minimum. So
Like
these
your prices would start at the one, like for example, for this example.
and again, that's if you're paying yourself $100 per hour. Let's see. I used to charge $60 per hour.
Oh, paying ourselves. I'm confusing it. I'm thinking that's what we would charge the client.
Right. I used to when I would do my bookings and stuff like that. When I would be like, okay, how much do I want to charge for a full set? Full set took me an hour. I want $60. I want $1 per minute. $60 an hour. So if it took me 2 hours to do a full set of sculpted nails, it was $120. Right? That's good money. That's a lot of lawyers don't make $60 an hour. Okay. So even if we change that number to $60 an hour, that's still $138,000 a year. If you look over here, look how much money the salon made now.
Right.
After paying you $138,000 a month, a year.
Right.
Which when they did that monthly, that's $11,000 a month. That's a lot of money. So realistically, you may want to think about this in other terms, right? You want to think about it for real. How much do you really do a day? You said 2 hours a day, right? You said 2 hours. So that's going to be a lot less. But can you afford to have your suite with all of these things that you need? If you don't need it, if you don't have it, then you don't put it there. Okay? Do y'all know how to work it now? Because I'm going to drop it into the classroom tonight when I get home. Everybody will have it all at the same time. And then y'all can work on it, okay? Now, the other thing that you guys have to do, okay, now this is easy. This is actually fun. This right here is what let me know. And again, I use it for way more than just my business expenses. I use it for home expenses, that's how I knew if I could afford to buy that bike. I was like, okay, let's see. What if I only get 2 students this month? Well, let's average that out. Let's see. What if we raise the tuition to $7,000? Whoop, we done made times 5 students every month that's a lot of money just going up $200. If I just raise it $200, it'll tell you when them numbers flip. You be like, whoo, I'm way too cheap. I need to go up one more payment. Just one more payment, bike paid for at the end of the year. See what I'm saying? It will let you know. Now, the other thing that you guys have to do is your diorama. Okay? I know this seems very, very childish, but I will tell you this. Every student that has done this and did a good job at it, when I go and visit their salon, it looks just like this. If you go and visit this girl, Gabby McAvoy, if you go and see her salon right now, it looks just like this. Green everywhere. It's her favorite color. Okay? I love doing this when I was in nail school, and I highly recommend that y'all put some thought into it. This is a cardboard box. Okay? Do not, I'm telling you to do not do this. Do not go to Hobby Lobby and buy all of these like dollhouse pieces. Okay? This should not cost you more than $5 to make. Okay? She put a little bit more into it. All right? She does nails full time. But you do not have to. You can make a welcome mat that's out of paper and color it black and write welcome on it. Okay? I want to see a physical diagram of what you plan to do. Okay? This is the part that will take you the longest to do if you do a good job. I have seen some that look like they did it the morning of. Okay? Please don't do that because I'm going to put it on the internet for everybody to see. And so you can be embarrassed for how little effort you put into your nail career, because this is the most important assignment that you will do. Because if you ain't got no business about yourself, then good luck doing nails. Okay? This is fun, should be fun, and again, this will take the most time out of your project that will be due on the 6th or the 7th, whatever day you come. So I think the 7th is Saturday. Okay? Everything else is easy, plugging in numbers, bloop, bloop, bloop. All you're gonna do is do the numbers, do the business plan. I got a template there that you'll download. You'll retype it up, and then when you're done, upload it to that same spot that you downloaded it from. This right here, if you don't do it, you can't graduate. And I don't accept it late. Don't tell me this blah blah blah. I don't. Better get one of these students to bring it for you. It better be sitting in this room. If you're not here, it better be here. Okay, because you'll say I didn't do, I had that, and then you'll spend a whole nother week doing it. Nobody else had an extra week to do it because you want to go to the club that weekend. All right, so y'all got it. Diorama, business plan, spreadsheet, floor plan. Floor plan should look like this. Okay. But the floor plan will be either digital or hand drawn, okay, whichever, on paper. But whatever you do, upload it so that I can see it, or have it so that we can put it on this, because you're going to present this to your classmates, okay, and tell us. And here's one thing I want y'all to keep in mind. If you have a proprietary name that you have not LLC'd or copyright written or whatever that you don't want nobody to take, don't you put it on that damn paper, because somebody on the internet is gonna see it and they're gonna say, oh, that's a cool name, I'm about to make it mine right now, and it's not yours no more, and they could sue you for using it. Okay, so make up a fake name if you got something really cool that you don't want nobody to take. Okay, I wouldn't do it even in here. Somebody in here will take it from you, okay? I mean, it just depends on how cool it is, all right? So if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this very long live.